Boys, we're live.
Oh, it's live, man.
We're in this.
Love it.
Oh.
Love it, man.
Oh.
Gotta hear my gulp a little bit.
That's all part of the experience. You know, what would a podcast be without that?
Absolutely.
Be a little dull.
Absolutely.
Mr. Engaged over here.
Congratulations, by the way.
Hey.
Congratulations, yes.
Dude, congrats.
Thanks,
really.
man.
How do you feel, brother? Oh, come on.
Feels really good.
Yeah.
Like a lot of, like, you know, everything hasn't really changed that much just because, like, we've already lived together for, like, over 3 years and everything. But it's just, it's nice because we actually start to get, like, planning stuff to, like, start to talk about, like, where we're going to do it, how we want to do it, like, who we're going to invite, stuff like that. Like, we're just now getting the ball rolling. But it's been good so far. Like, it's been... absolutely have nothing else to complain about. I was really excited to do it.
In Vegas, of all
in
places.
Vegas.
Dude.
In
Dang.
front
Vegas.
of, in front of the
That's the
Bellagio.
spot.
In front of the fountain. In front of the lights. And
Did you do it while the fountains were going?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
Solid.
What was the initial buildup like? Huh? How'd you feel?
Did she know? Because you kind of said that she was
I
like...
thought she had, like, an idea, but her face didn't... I'll show you guys the video later. Well, you guys probably already saw it, but... no, she didn't have any clue. Like, her jaw dropped. It took me a good 5 seconds to actually ask her because I was just tearing up and I couldn't say anything.
You
Oh,
It
man.
you're tearing up. You gonna make me cry. dude.
It's a big moment.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I was going to be a lot more nervous than I was. I mean, like, you know, my heart was racing, but it was more just, like, excitement than anything else.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't nervous about, like, to do it or what to say. But no, I was really happy with the way it turned out. And like my brother was there and Jake and his girlfriend were there. So we all had just a fun time in Vegas for like 4 days.
God, I miss Vegas. We got to make a group trip out there.
I've never officially gone to Vegas as an adult, you know? Never.
Did you go when you were younger?
Like super young for like passing by type of deal. And my parents went to go do stuff. And obviously I just stayed at the hotel. Little poor little brown boy.
Stuck in the hotel.
Just stuck at the hotel.
We got to go.
The airlines made a big deal about it since it was like the first flight. I mean, like the news was there, like Zach, Jake, and Madison all got interviewed by like the news just before. Like they almost missed the flight because they were interviewed. Like my brother got held up at fucking security because there was something they had to check or whatever. But like they did that before they even got the bags checked. And so like they were rushing us out the door and they're like, is anyone else? I'm like, yeah, there's definitely 3 people over there that have to be on there. And like, well, they need to hurry up. Like they were not having it.
Oh, wow.
Like they had to be.
This is at the airport?
Yeah. Like leaving Arcata.
How big was the plane?
It was a 737.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah, it's a decent sized plane. I think there's like 100 and like close to 150 people on there.
Oh, shit.
It was almost booked. There was a couple seats left, but.
What was their interview about?
Oh, well.
Being the first on the
Yeah,
flight.
it was just being the first on the flight, like what they were going there for, that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna get fucked up in Vegas. That's the whole interview. We're gonna get fucked up.
I mean, I feel like if you're going to Vegas,
how can you not?
You gotta get fucked up.
Yeah,
you have to get fucked up. I'm sure all of you guys did. Yeah.
That's like so? I don't even remember.
So?
You didn't get fucked up in Vegas?
You gotta take full advantage of the whole
you are
Vegas experience,
dude. Sure, man.
Dude. Well, like my biggest thing is I wanted to like gamble a little bit. Ooh. More than like drink or anything else. Like, I wanted to like play tables, like that kind of stuff, you know? Like I brought money knowing I was going to lose it. Like I was okay with it. So I was just like, let's go. And then a lot of people I was with, they didn't want to do tables at all. They did a couple bucks here and there on slots, which I don't blame them. Like you're just going to lose money on slots.
Yeah.
But
you don't, I mean, sometimes you don't.
Yeah. I mean, I won like $40 until I lost it.
I don't think I gambled at all when I was down there. I just spent all my money drinking.
Yeah.
This is enough. This is enough for me. I'm good.
Yeah. Well, we went to, cause we had like a studio apartment for like our hotel, and we had like a fridge and all that stuff, like a full kitchen in it. So we just went to Target and bought like stuff to kind of like pregame before we went out.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
The girls bought a case of White Claw and they only drank like 4 of them. Mind you, like White Claw's already expensive around here. I feel like it's expensive, but like in Vegas, like a bottle
$10 a can.
Like a bottle of Jack is like $32. Like a normal size, like where it's like $16 here, it's like double the price over in Vegas. So I was like, double the price of a White Claw box? No, thank you. But
it's insane. It's super expensive. Like unrealistically expensive.
Yeah.
Did you guys go hit the casinos or anything?
Yeah, we went to a few different casinos and stuff. Walked through like the Luxor, Excalibur. We went through the Bellagio, Planet Hollywood, stuff like that.
What about the strip clubs, huh?
No.
Nah. I didn't go to the strip clubs when I was there either.
Well, you were with your parents. So
yeah,
that was
like, hey, mom, let's go see some strippers.
Close your eyes.
Close your eyes. No, mom, no.
Yeah.
Don't look at me.
I mean, we made jokes about it because we saw plenty of like billboards for like. There's one that's called like the Library. It's like the Library Gentlemen's Club.
Library.
And there was another one we saw like the Sapphire, and those were like the two ones that we saw advertisements for everywhere. What blew me when you were there? Did you see like all the people like handing out? It was almost like a baseball card.
Yeah, like little flyer things.
Little flyer things with just like a call number on there, and it's like a naked chick on it, and they're just handing them out. They like throw them on the ground, like you could not
like
walk
legit baseball card style.
It sounds like a rite of passage.
You couldn't walk 10 feet without seeing one on the ground.
Really?
No, like literally, they're everywhere. Like you don't even have to. If you're too ashamed to grab one from somebody, you just pick one off the ground. I mean,
oh shit!
It was nuts. Like having like the sidewalks be like escalators.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of the times instead of like cutting across the street, they have to go like off the strip like a few feet, and then it's like a bridge you walk across, then walk your way back to the strip. Like
they have a sidewalk.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, like outside escalators.
Really a thing?
Yeah, it's not the whole sidewalk. It's like if you want to cross the street, you go up an escalator, and then there's like a little land bridge across, and then you go down.
God, I feel so.
Because it's like humbled eyes. Is it 4 lanes? Is the strip 4 lanes?
I think it's like 3 or 4 on each side.
Yeah.
Like going each way. I think it's 3 lanes each way. So I think it's 6 lanes of traffic, but
I need to go. Oh my god.
The best part is the fact that you can just walk anywhere with the drink in your hand. And like if you're leaving one of the casinos, you can get your drink to go in like a styrofoam cup. It's amazing. To-go cup? That was my favorite part.
I mean, you can buy drinks or like the fruity, like the mixed drinks that are like kind of like an icy or whatever. They're like, $40-$50 for one that's that damn tall, and just walk around the strip with it and drink. I mean, I had a tall boy a couple times that I bought from Target, and I was just like drinking my tall boy.
Yeah. I stopped at like CVS and would just pick them right off the strip. And then you're just walking down, you're like, oh yeah, we're good.
Okay, I don't even want to think of tall boys.
Yeah, they don't. I guess they don't allow glass on the strip, but like no one. I mean, if you can't buy a bottle if they have bars right off the sidewalk too. And so if you want to buy like something from like the bar, like it's gonna be like an aluminum can or a to-go cup or something. But like if you walk, you have a Bud Light and you're walking down the strip, they're not gonna say anything. They don't care. They got better shit to do.
It's a different world.
Fucking Vegas. All right, that's fucking Vegas.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's not going on over there? Like, jeez, man. When's the wedding day?
We don't have a date. We're kind of thinking about like June of like 23.
23.
Because her and I are gonna be paying for this stuff like ourselves, so it's gonna take a hot minute to.
And you got to plan it.
Yeah, and like a lot of things, like in order to even reserve it, you have to put down a deposit. So that has to we have to save that, just in and of itself right there. So, yeah,
they're super expensive. Weddings are super expensive. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Even the small one.
Having flashbacks.
I am, dude. I'm having flashbacks of just like writing down checks or just sending money to like Apple Pay. Like, oh, there goes.
Well,
like
with your wedding, your mom and your aunt were up like the night before doing like the fake flower arrangements, and I was like, I'm down for that because that's way cheaper. And then she's like, no, we gotta have real flowers. I'm just like, lady, I don't think you understand how much. Like, I'm expecting it to be really expensive. I don't know if she is or not. But I was like, I
don't think they're cheap.
No, they're definitely. Oh my god, they're not cheap, dude. Like, I'm in the wrong business. That's for damn sure. I need to be in the wedding planning business.
Dude, I mean, I talked to somebody who got married in September yesterday, and she was saying that, she's like, even though you're a year and a half out, like, look for a florist now, like right now. She's like, I got stuck with, the one person I didn't really want to deal with because they were the only one available, and it really wasn't that great. She was pretty disappointed with the flowers she got.
Oh, that sucks.
But she's just like, so her recommendation was like, definitely look for like a florist first. But
do you guys have an idea where you want to go? Is it gonna be like local or?
I'd rather do it local. I think she kind of does too, but she has family down in Sacramento, and we want to do like an outside wedding, but Sacramento's ugly area. Like in June, it is an ugly area. It's nothing but just everything's dead. It's just golden brown. It's just like, it's not good. And it's not gonna be hot necessarily, like super hot in June as it would be like in July or August, but it's definitely not gonna be like it'll be a little warmer with a tux on in June.
Yeah, if it was like late July, you're triple digits and a tux.
Forget about it.
Where's your ashtray?
I'm gonna grab your cup.
Grab your cup. I got you.
But no, so we think we want to do it in June.
Yeah.
And then outside wedding, and then we got a couple different venues in mind.
Yeah.
She's pretty much like, obviously her and I get a say in it too, but it's like more or less like I just get to be there. It's like her day. I just want her to be happy.
I'm just showing up, dude. I feel like that's always the case though for weddings. Always the case for weddings.
Well, like for yours, did you like have like do you think it was like a 50-50 like part of like planning it, or do you think like Maria was just like, let's take, like it was more like a 70-30 or 60-40 kind of deal?
It was more like 70-30.
Okay.
I would say 70-30 because there's thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate it. It was definitely more 70-30, man. Oh my god. But that was because I just wanted to marry her, and then I just wanted to say in like some music, and that's about it.
I feel like for guys, it's just showing up.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Like it's not our day.
No.
We're just there for the after party.
Yeah,
pretty much. That's pretty much how it goes, man. I mean, most of the stuff that we had to pay for was just things that she wanted, and then and she had a really good time, man. I mean,
dude, your wedding was a blast.
Was it a blast?
It was a blast.
You guys have a good time?
That was the wedding I had the most fun at, like I've ever been to.
Really?
That was hella fun.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. Oh my god, because I couldn't ask anything. I was too drunk to be like, hey, you have a good time?
When you came outside and sat down, I was like, oh yeah, we're where we want to be.
We're good, man.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's your wedding day, you can't help but get drunk.
Come on.
You know, if it's your wedding day,
You gotta
you gotta have something.
Well, even you said on your wedding, like at the reception, you're just like, hey, I need to sober up because I need to consummate later, and I can't.
That's big facts right there, man. If I can't get it up, that would be
a rough way to end your wedding night.
Let's
just be like, listen, I promise I can do it. Just give me 5 minutes.
You got to do the deed. Like, I'm not gonna let you get that drunk, man. Okay. I'll let you get that drunk.
Once the bourbon came out, I was like, oh, it's a wrap.
I'll let you get drunk, but just not like limp dick drunk, you know?
That's fair. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I fish it.
You gotta be able to do the deed. That's
well, yours was awesome because it had, just like plenty of beer everywhere. And then like the margaritas just out of like the juice machine. I love that. That was awesome. That
shit was dangerous.
Especially as soon as we showed up, your mom was just like, hey, it's leaking. We need to get it all out of there. So go drink. And it's like, say less. Let's do it.
Things are so different with my mom now. Like more than ever. Like, honestly.
Like, in a good way?
Yeah, no, like, in such a good, positive way. Because, before I came in, like, the last time I came into this podcast, like, I was shitting all over my mom, right? Like, left and right. And, like, now I can actually, like, say that, like she's a friend, you know?
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Good.
Like, I can actually be like, hey, like, what's up, Mom? How's your day? How's it going? I'm still a little iffy with Everard, like, her husband. But, work in progress. Work in progress type of deal. Oh, hold on.
What's the plan with the Cook Islands?
With the cooks, because we still gotta wait for the borders to open up. Right.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, so we gotta wait for the borders to open up. And once the borders open up, we'll be able to go over there, have a naming ceremony for like Maria and also my son and all that good jazz. Which my auntie said that you guys have to. I don't know if I express this to you guys.
Oh yeah. Oh, they did too.
No, they did. Yeah, they did.
It wasn't an option. It was, oh yeah, we're going.
Like you white boys are coming over.
The amount of love my aunties have for you guys is fucking unreal, dude. They were like, if they don't show up, I'm gonna be pissed at your ass for not doing that. I was like, okay,
all right,
okay, you guys must have left a hell of an impression with my aunts, man. And they're tough cookies. They're thick-headed.
Oh, we hit it off.
Beautiful women.
Yeah,
we hit it off.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Shit! Come on, son.
Oh, you got you're getting your own. Oh, this is my own.
Yeah.
Oh, I just get to keep doing.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, the podcast life.
That's what it is here, man. This is I don't want to say a safe space, but
it's not. Yeah, no,
it's
dude.
a good space.
It's where conversation happens.
Yeah,
it is, dude.
It can sometimes be safe.
Wild conversations.
Oh
there
my
have been
dude.
some interesting conversations on this podcast.
Let's have another one. What you got?
Oh, dude. Okay, you guys want to go in?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys heard about that Kyle Rittenhouse thing? Let's go in swinging. Let's go in fucking hot.
Oh, I haven't. I'm yeah, dude.
Oh, good.
I live under a rock right now.
Dude, I wish I was that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Shit is stressful.
Fill me the scoop. What's going down?
So it started it happened last year, right? Like the whole thing.
I think it happened wasn't it back with the whole BLM protests last
Okay, so it was
thing?
Earlier this year.
I think so. I think it was over the summer.
Yeah, I don't know. But it was in Michigan, right?
Oh,
Michigan.
Kenosha. I don't know if is that Wisconsin?
Yeah, I think it is Wisconsin. You're right.
And so this kid, 17 years old, went to one of these protests at night to kind of watch this car lot, and he said to provide like medical attention, like help people that were, in need, which apparently there are some stories of him actually helping protesters that were injured.
Okay.
And he like gave them like some medical stuff and like helped them out.
No.
But shit took a turn, and I don't know exactly what started the turn, but he started getting attacked, and long story short, he shot 3 people and killed 2, wounded 1, and there was a big trial about it.
Oh, is this all the memes I'm seeing?
Yeah,
probably. The kid crying?
Yeah, that's Kyle.
Yeah, that's him? That's the
Kyle.
guy?
That's Kyle, yeah.
Oh my God.
You want to slide me that?
Yeah, I got
so
you.
So the trial happened, and what I didn't understand was why people were trying to make it into a race thing. Did you see any of that?
Yeah.
I didn't get that because it was all the people were white that he shot that were involved.
Shot the white people.
Yeah, he was white.
Okay. Is it just the fact that it would happen?
I think at a BLM thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like the trial was a big thing because there was people that were like live streaming it, like it was like live streamed everywhere, and people were like on Facebook watching it as it was happening. Like, and it took a week, somewhere in the neighborhood.
I think so. I know the jury deliberated for a hot minute.
Yeah, I think just them talking in the courtroom without the jury, I think it was like ballpark a week.
Yeah.
And so that was that was a lengthy amount of time in and of itself. But I mean, because he got off on all accounts because
all charges.
Yeah, he got
not guilty.
Not
guilty.
Self-defense.
Okay.
And people were mad that it was self-defense. They're like, this guy should have been thrown in jail.
Well, they're also like, I think for me, like when I looked into it, the biggest thing was like a 17-year-old shouldn't have access to like that kind of a weapon, like regardless of what he's doing or not, because like 18 handle a weapon unless you're under like parent supervision, that kind of deal. But they tried to try him as an adult for like what had happened, and it's like you can't try and charge him for him being 17 with the possession of a firearm and also try him as an adult. It's like it's one or the other,
right? And
it's like they for sure could have nailed him on the 17 having a gun,
right?
But I mean, that was the punishment for that was way less. So they went for, murder or whatever they tried to get him on, and it was like they got him off. So
man, that's iffy because 3 people died.
2 people died.
2 people died.
1 was injured.
But
here's the thing: there's a lot of misinformation about this case, which is what's weird about it. One of the guys was a pedophile. One of them had a gun, and I think it was the third guy that was trying to beat the shit out of him with a skateboard.
Oh.
Like, if you watch the video, he ran. Yeah, he legit ran from these people and was chased down, and then that's when he started shooting. The one dude with the skateboard was wailing on him. He shot that guy. I think he got back up, started running, and somebody fired a shot. I think it was the pedophile kid that had a gun, who he shouldn't have had a gun because he had a felony charge, so he shouldn't have had a gun.
He's a pedophile.
Fired the shot, and he said on the stand, this is the guy that lived, said on the stand, he wasn't shot by Rittenhouse until he pointed his gun at him on the ground, and that's when Rittenhouse shot him. It's like, okay, well, what?
Okay.
Yeah,
how is that not self-defense?
Yeah.
And I thought the gun charge, that's what I thought too. I thought, okay, he could at least get tagged with that. I didn't think the murders or him killing those people, I didn't think that was enough. But the gun charge, it wasn't actually his gun, and he didn't cross any lines with it. His buddy bought it for him for when he turned 18 and had it in Kenosha already. And so Rittenhouse went there and then got the gun there. So he didn't transport it. It could have been a straw hat purchase, which is, I think, what they call it when somebody else buys a gun for you because you're not old enough. But at 17, he could legally carry that gun, which I don't think a lot of people knew. And people are losing their shit about it.
What was with the race thing then? Just because it's
I don't know.
Just
Yeah, I've seen people compare it to like the Ahmaud Arbery case, which these are completely different cases, and a ton of other cases. And they're like, it's just because he's white that he's getting off. And
wasn't that case about 3 men hunting that
Yeah,
practically hunting down this one dude?
They tracked that guy down and
Yeah,
and shot him.
he was on a run, right?
He was on a run,
Yeah,
and then he stopped at a construction site or something. And I think that's when they saw him and they thought he was,
yeah.
they had like a string of burglaries or something through there, and he thought that was the kid. But they chased his ass down, and then got out, and like I think it was 3 guys, right? 2 of them were confronting him, and 1 was videotaping the whole thing.
Dude, this fucking race thing. Oh man, it's never gonna go away.
It doesn't feel like it.
It
doesn't
really
feel like
feels
it.
like it's never gonna go away. No matter what. As long as we have a slight difference, it's never gonna go away.
I worry about where we go from there, though.
I mean, it's not looking good.
It's not
so
looking
far.
good. I don't feel good about it.
From what
No.
I'm looking at right now,
Mm.
it's not looking good, and I'm barely looking. Like that's a fucked up part.
I guarantee you're happier though that way.
Yeah,
not paying attention to it.
Yeah, you're not so like caught up in it, and it's not just like some people live for this stuff. Like some people, if they love to follow it, and either whatever their intentions are, if they want to just try and make sense of it, if they want to, try and help out like their side of the justice part of it, or whatever their reasoning is, like they just religiously follow it, and it's just like.
My problem is we can't even have a conversation about it anymore.
No.
Like people want to shut that. I'm cool if you believe he should be in jail or if you believe that he should be free. But the ability for us to talk about it, I feel like that's important.
I think it's really gone out the window, man. Especially how sensitive everyone is to even like the slightest topic can set someone off.
Well, and then like there's so many people who just get offended by calling you sensitive. Like if it's just like sometimes you can't have a conversation with somebody because they get offended or they get sensitive or whatever it is. Just like, can't you just like deal with it for like the sake of a conversation?
I don't know.
It's like there's no.
I don't think so. Honestly,
Dude, we are in a weird time. We're in a really weird time.
I feel like it's at the type of time where if you want to speak about it, you look weak, right? Like
I think it's if you don't comply with the set narrative, you get
Right.
attacked for that.
like someone says you need to fucking do this A, B, and C, and you're like, no, let's talk about this instead. Then you look like, I don't know. I feel like people need to either look tough or be able to stand their ground.
I think for some things like the BLM, it's like if you're not like 100% like with the BLM, even if you just like you're on the fence, you're not saying like you don't.
Mm.
If you're saying like you're not saying you support them, but you're also like not supporting that kind of thing, then if you're just not 100% with them, then you're just a racist. I feel like that kind of happens a lot.
See, and I don't agree with that. You shouldn't be
That's not good.
classified as a racist
No.
just because you don't agree.
Well, it doesn't have to like you don't. So you can just be undecided.
Yeah.
If you're just like, oh, like I don't really know. Then it's just okay. Well, then you need to get with us or you're against that kind of thing. And it's just like,
Dude, there's a clip of back when all the protests were happening and it was like rioting, and they were breaking into stores and like lighting shit on fire. There's a clip of Chris Cuomo saying, well, I don't see why protests have to be peaceful or something like that. Or show me where it says protests have to be peaceful. And I was like, that's when I was like, okay, we're going down a rough road. That's not, who says that?
Like you need show me where on the book where it says I can't hurt people.
Yeah. Like if you're angry, you have a justification now to go out and burn down whatever you want.
Yeah.
And that's not saying the plight wasn't valid and what they're, the George Floyd thing was fucked up. It's fucked up.
I mean, yeah.
But burning down people's shit,
Mm-hmm.
kind of fucked up
especially
too.
people that
Kind
had
of fucked up too.
especially people who had nothing to do with it and they're just pissed off,
Exactly.
so they're just setting random stuff on fire. It's just like
These are just poor men and women trying to have their own business.
trying to have like their lives together and trying
Exactly.
to live their life and just it's ridiculous.
There was this clip that I saw of this black guy, and he was a little older. He's probably in his 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
And he's standing out and he's screaming, like almost breaking down, like because they lit his shop on fire. And he's like, I'm one of you guys. Like, I'm out here protesting too. I tried to make it out of the ghetto. Like, I built up this business and you guys just took that from me. And he's out on the street screaming.
It took it in seconds.
Yeah. And it's
seconds.
like, that's what this is.
Yeah.
You guys aren't helping people by burning down small businesses and lighting people's cars on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing positive about burning down someone else's business.
But I don't think that's the whole movement. I think there are some shitty people that just came out to fuck people's shit up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
that was their ticket to do whatever they wanted because it's like lost in the mayhem of whatever else is happening.
Yeah, perfect excuse, man.
some people just want to see this shit burn down.
Well, that stuff
Yeah.
happened here. Like when they did like the small kind of riots and stuff that we had happening around here. It was just like there was people like trying to park their car, or trying to get out, or trying to find a spot to get out of their car, and then people are banging on their car, and they're just like, "I'm here to protest," and you guys are just hitting my car for no reason.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm trying to support you, but you're not letting me support you.
yeah.
Oh no, man. It's just like I feel like it just gives people an excuse to be like, hey, now's my chance to finally go as crazy as I want. Whenever I
You get a
want.
free pass.
Exactly.
It's like a whole pass
Mm-hmm.
to go out and do whatever you want to do. And it's on both sides. You had the January 6th thing where those fucking people stormed the Capitol
Yeah.
and just started doing. That's the problem, is we can't even agree on what the actual problem is. Everybody's got their own little fight they're trying to wage.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we've got 100 different battles here and nobody's paying attention to any of them. And it's like, okay, how do we solve that?
Man, it could be the internet, man. You know? The internet will give each and every specific person their own little algorithm, and that said person gets their own set of notifications. I truly believe that.
No, they show you
100%.
what they want you to see.
Exactly.
Unless you have the the free will to go out and like look at both sides of any story you want, like any
Exactly.
topic, any story you can think of, you can go out and look at two different sides on your own. But a lot of people don't do that. They just see what they see. A lot of it's on Facebook, and they just like run with it. And yeah, I mean, there's been times where like you read an article that's on Facebook, and you get all the way down to the bottom. That's like how many people actually shared this before getting to the bottom and realizing it's fake or it's a story or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then
It's
some
just
people
a clickbait title.
yeah, it's like some
Mhm.
people read all of it, but most people though like get halfway through it, get fired up about it, and just share it and send it out. And it's just like you didn't.
You didn't really follow through.
Yeah.
What you should have.
Because how many people are actually, like you said, how many people are actually getting to the bottom of that? Not a lot.
And that's a big problem.
Yeah.
Like, just, media's a big problem too. Just like if you watch only CNN, it's like that's a problem. If you watch only Fox, it's gonna be a problem. Like maybe not for you, but like with the time that you disagree with somebody on a certain topic, they're gonna be like, well, the news said this. Like, well, my news said this. Just like they're saying two different things about one topic, and it's just like no one's out. A lot of people aren't going out and like doing their own research. They're just saying whatever the anchor man or the anchor woman is telling them.
Yeah.
Dude, I was talking to somebody about the Rittenhouse case, and they were like, he got away with murder. He should be locked up. He got away with murder. And I was like, did you watch the videos of him running
Right.
from those people? And they were like,
Right.
no.
I personally haven't even seen the video.
Yeah.
either.
But I mean, there's a difference. You're not out here saying, this motherfucker needs to
is.
get locked.
He needs to be locked up for good.
I don't care. I think everyone should have an opinion if they want, but at least try to make that informed.
Right.
At least try. Give it like a cursory glance. Look a little into it, right?
Yeah.
Instead of just watching CNN or Fox News and be like, yeah, this is it.
I feel like it's hard though when you feel like you're right about a certain thing and you full-heartedly back it up. It's hard to be like, all right, now what are they trying to say?
Oh yeah,
We've all been there.
Well, that could definitely be hard.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're 100%. That happens with me and like with Sabrina. It's just like I'll just say, oh God, this happened, and then she's like, oh no, remember like this is. I'm like, shit. It's like I came at you with so much like 100% positivity that I was right, and then it's like, nope, you were right. It can be the dumbest thing, but it happens with obviously other serious issues too.
That's a problem with emotion.
Yeah,
That's like a main problem with emotion. Super cloudy, man. If I get in an argument with Maria and I feel like I'm 100% right, like, and then I'm 100% right. Like, you're wrong. Like, that's it. Game over until, like, after the argument, and I'm feeling super shitty about, like, the things I might have said or, like, the things that she was trying to say, And if I can't even do that, how do I expect other people to be doing that shit?
yeah.
you know.
Well, that was
Especially with a complete stranger.
Yeah.
You know, that was one of the things. One of the podcasts of yours I just watched. It was like the whole hour we were talking about. It's like, you know, it got crazy with emotion and how that person felt versus like what actually should and shouldn't be okay. It's just, well, it hurt your feelings doesn't mean that they shouldn't be able to say what they want to say. Sorry, it hurts your feelings, but
You can say, what one are we talking about?
the one with Felicity.
Okay, that's what I thought. She's, by the way, Felicity was awesome.
No, I love that.
I had so much fun talking
No,
with her.
that last hour was primo. That was awesome.
I didn't see this.
Some of her ideas, we started talking about she's non-binary now. And so we started talking about that and like gender identity and
gender fluid.
Which I'm a little confused on that. I don't know exactly what that is.
Welcome to the club.
I'm just being honest.
Non-binary, I'm going to butcher this, so
yeah.
Felicity, forgive me. Non-binary, I believe, is you can kind of go both ways. So sometimes you feel like a male, and if you follow that line of thinking, you are a male in those minutes, and then other times you can go back, be a female, and feel like a female.
Like if you wake up and you're just like, oh, like right now I'm feeling a little masculine, I'm feeling like a dude, like I'm a dude. Everyone has to call me a dude because that's the way I feel.
Oh, shit, we're gonna go in right now.
Okay.
We're gonna go in.
But that same person, you know, maybe who knows how long, or it could be the same day, could be an unknown amount of time, could just be like, actually, you can kind of feeling like a little feminine right now. I'm now a woman. It's like
you gotta go. You're like both, but at different times. You're only one at certain times, but you can go.
And it's like, I'm not saying that like that shouldn't be like, if that makes you happy, you do you, but it's just like, don't get mad at me because I call you like, hey man, or hey dude, and it's just like, well, I'm a woman. It's just like,
right.
That's the key, right? Out of all of this, that's the point, and it feels like everybody's missing the point. Whatever you want to do,
just do it.
However you want to identify, you want to be a purple dragon, you can do that. Like really, like that. Why would I care? It doesn't affect my life.
Right.
Like you being a male or a female or not in either of those two camps, that doesn't affect me. My problem is when it comes to the forced compliance of, okay, but if you don't acknowledge me as a woman or as a male, I'm gonna come for you.
Yeah.
Then you're a piece of shit.
You're the douchebag. You're the douche.
That's the problem. That's when it gets really uncomfortable.
I hope I never have to cross that. I've never had to cross that opportunity. So
I mean, I haven't,
because I feel like I'm pretty uneducated about that. So
that's how I am.
Give me the benefit of the doubt.
I mean, watching his podcast is a lot of the like talking for, you know, from the guests he's had on that's actually feel these, like, you know, this way, or like what changes they're going through, this or that. It's like taking in a lot of the information, because I mean, there's plenty of times with like the Felicity one, it's like I was like listening in my kitchen making dinner, and then I was just talking to myself, and I'm like, no way, like just like I'm like right there in the room with you guys.
Full on conversation.
He's like, excuse you.
There's just stuff like that.
I've definitely done that. Yeah.
No, yeah, we're like Sabrina's on the couch. She's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And I'm just like, "I'm sorry, I'm just really into the podcast."
I'm in my conversation right now. I want to say it's weird, but it's not weird in a bad way. It's just weird. It's different.
It's weird that I just don't know anything about it. Exactly.
Which is fine. You don't have to know about everyone's stuff that they're dealing with, right? Everyone's got their own thing.
Right.
It's just the forced compliance. And the weirdest one for me, and I kind of talked to Skylin a little bit about it, is the whole transgender thing and dating straight people. It's like if you don't find someone who's transgender attractive, you're transphobic.
No.
And Skylin doesn't feel that way. She has some different, I don't want to put words in her mouth. She kind of spread how she feels in that podcast. But I've heard the sentiment where if you don't find, so like if a trans woman comes up to you and you don't know that she's trans and you guys are hitting it off, having a good time, and then she tells you, and then that changes something for you and it's no longer sexual, or the nature's different because of that, and you're transphobic. Which, what?
No.
Come on.
No.
Like, I get where they're coming from. I don't agree with it, but I get where they're coming from.
Oh, I totally get.
But
I
it's
get
just
the sentiment.
like, but I feel like like the biggest thing is like, you know, like if you walk up to someone, like, you know, for us it'd be like a girl in the bar, and it's like, you know, yeah, you're hitting it off, having drinks, whatever. You decide to go back to whoever, like wherever you're gonna go, and you want to, you know, do the deed, whatever. and then all of a sudden she's got the same thing I do, I'm gonna have a problem with it.
I have a little problem
Like,
that you didn't,
not
you
get
didn't warn
violent
me
or
ahead.
but it's gonna be a little. It's
and-
gonna be a little interesting.
Yeah, and Felicity brought that up. She's like, I mean, allegedly with black trans women. I guess that's a big problem. Is like they get beat up.
There's
or
a lot of
people
violence.
People get violent when they find out and they get upset, or that's not okay. But like,
I mean, I would
It's
appreciate
100%.
a heads up.
yeah, it's 100% understandable someone being upset because I feel like that's misleading.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm not saying they have to just right then and there. Like, I don't know. It's weird because I personally would be upset, and I sure as hell wouldn't go through with it. And I guess in that moment, if they wanted to call me transphobic, whatever, as I'm walking out the door, and be like, bye.
I just don't want to have sex with that. That's all. I just don't want to have sex with that.
Well, because it changes. It's just like, when you first see someone at the bar, it's like,
Yeah.
it's a visual sexual like attraction.
Yeah.
And then when you talk to somebody and get to know them more, then it can, it evolve. But I mean, when you've known them for, chances are a couple hours from a bar, it's like, you're not going to really care about like, you're not going to really be worried about what's on the inside. You're still worried about what's on the outside and like wanting to have a little bit of time with it.
Yeah,
And then,
right?
and then it happens and, and they're just like, oh, hey, like, I classify myself as a woman, but I still have a penis or whatever. And it's just like, yeah, that's not for me. Like somebody else, to hope like the best of luck, but like not for me.
It's just a major throw off, man. Like,
Well, the parts they do matter.
yeah,
like,
they do.
Whether that's unfortunate or not, like that does have
They
that plays
do.
a role. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, you could make arguments both ways, but today in our
No.
current world, that matters. Like if you don't want to fuck somebody with a penis,
I mean, I don't know the feelings that they go through on a daily basis, but like, I feel like I would want to notify the person ahead of time
yeah,
just to see if they're even open to the idea, because that's a big change.
yeah, and that's what Skylin said. She said she always opens with that, like, "Hey,
Yeah.
this is what's going on,"
And that's good. And honestly, probably brave of her because like,
and it's safer.
like, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, because chances are at that point, by the way, when you tell somebody, especially if it's like right off the bat, and if you're at a bar, you're in a public place, they're not going to hopefully not get as mad or as violent or whatever it is. Whereas like Felicity mentioned this, she's just like, if you go back to someone's place or where you're just alone, it's like the chance of violence, it increases, a significant amount. So hopefully like in public places like that, I would kind of keep that to a minimal, that kind of altercation. But
Yeah, because it does suck at the fact that I would have to tell you like something super personal and super deep about me, and you could just tell me your first name.
And could you imagine having to tell that to every person
yeah,
you're
you
trying
want-
to date?
yeah.
Every person?
Everyone. Hey,
Yeah.
by the way, I look this way, I identify this way, but I also have this.
I mean, I
Yeah.
can only imagine like how that
It would
feels.
suck.
That would
Yeah,
suck.
that would.
That was like a lot.
Couldn't imagine like having to do that or having to tell people that because, like you said,
That's
you're
super
sharing something
deep, man.
personal with them, and then they're just like, "Oh yeah, well, yeah, here's my name," or
Yeah.
like,
By
"What
the
line
way,
of work you in?" or something
I
like
have-
that.
You're
I
gonna see
identify as a
something
woman
down
that had
there.
a penis.
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Jonathan. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, where do you go from there?
I don't know if I would go this far. I mean, this is what I've talked to this about somebody else
Yeah.
or with somebody else, and that person that I spoke with was just like, they're just like, I feel like, again, I don't feel this way. It's a little heavy, but they're just like, I would feel like that'd be pretty close to rape. If you're just like, I'm just like, yeah, well, you don't have to go through with it. I mean, so it wouldn't be at that point. I
Well,
mean,
the thing I could. Okay, this is gonna.
I'm thrown.
I could see it if you hooked up with a trans woman, which I believe is male to female,
Right.
right.
and they
Right.
had the bottom surgery,
Okay.
and then you found out afterwards, or maybe during, you're like, hey, something.
Like I used to be a guy kind of
Yeah,
deal.
something's off.
Well, the deed's already been done. You liked it.
See, that's where I was just like, yeah, I don't really think you
You-
classify that as rape
I
because you
don't think
did that. Like, yeah, they didn't tell you, but like you went into that willingly, so it's not like, it's
Willingly?
not rape.
Here's the
You did all
point
the
that I
things you
could,
did.
playing devil's advocate, here's what I could see, because if you,
Okay.
stealthing is rape, right? Which stealthing is when you take the condom off without the other person knowing. So that's rape, right? And that's because we consented to this thing. We had this mutual understanding, and one of us changed,
Ooh,
or
right.
That's a
didn't
fair
acknowledge.
point. No, that's a fair
So
point.
if we're playing devil's advocate, I could see.
No, I could see that now. For
Yeah,
sure. I'd never
that's
thought of
the
that.
only way
but
I
no.
could see that is because now stealthing is that way. It's illegal and it's a
Right.
crime, which is good. I mean, that's a good thing.
So I could see that though. I never thought about that.
Yeah,
I never thought of it like that. So that's a good point, and I feel
That's
like that's
a good
fair.
point.
I don't really have an argument for it. Other people might, but other people probably care about it more.
You take
than
the
I do.
condom off, and all of a sudden she gets pregnant. Then that's a big deal.
right. That's a problem. I mean,
But I wouldn't. I don't know if I.
I don't think it's
I don't think it would
rape,
be the same.
but I wouldn't.
It's not the same.
It's not good.
because
It's not good.
it's not good.
I think you should. I mean, it's weird because you shouldn't have to tell somebody, but you kind of should have to tell your partner.
Kinda.
Like, hey, before we do this,
But like, what classifies someone as a partner though? Like, if you're just hooking up
if
at a bar,
something's going into something,
Partner for like
Yeah.
at least a night.
yeah,
at least
or
for the-
partner's
yeah.
a weird word. If you're hooking up with somebody,
Yeah.
like if you guys are gonna have sex,
like once or not, but like I feel like they should have the right to know because I would want to know.
I would want to know.
Exactly.
That's how I feel.
would
Like
wanna
I
know
would
too.
want to know if someone like if I was hooking up with a girl and then she told me afterwards. It's just like, yeah, I really wish you would have told me that beforehand.
I would feel some
Yeah.
type of way.
And I feel like that might make them feel some way about you, but like I would just want to know. I
if
feel like
we
I
were
have the
having a
right
good
to
time-
know.
If we were having a good time, and then you tell me, and then you give me the right to choose, then you give me the right to choose,
Right.
right? Like, let's have a good time. Let's know that I already like you, you like me, but then hit me with that, and see what happens. I feel like that would be a fair way to go about it.
That's fair.
I feel
that'd
that's
be
a
You
a
just
fair
have
way
to
too.
communicate it with the
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
And again, earlier, it's just like that could be really hard for them
Yeah.
to do that, and I couldn't imagine what that would be like. But from the outside looking in, if I was in that situation, I would want to know,
Yeah.
and that's how kind of the best way I could really expect to find out is like, I don't know.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
definitely
like,
want to find out
build a
after the
quick-
fact, after we just hooked up. I would. I think that would make me feel some type of way.
That's what I'm saying. Just build like a.
You're just
quick
putting your
connection,
pants
man.
back on. Hey, by the way.
Hey, by the way, yeah, didn't pop out
Yeah.
the way you thought it popped out. I don't know, man. See, it gets real sensitive about that.
But see, that's the crazy thing, because us sitting here saying that, like, I'm like, yeah, that doesn't sound crazy. Like, all that sounds completely.
But to other people, it's a big
Right. It's a
deal. I
problem.
mean, that's one thing that people cannot have a conversation because, like, honestly, when I listen to Years and Felicities, like, I feel like there was at some point, I feel like you had a good time the whole time. And at some point, I mean, this is just my, the outside looking, I thought Felicity maybe wasn't having such a good time towards the end because
No, I think she had a good time. I'm like 99% sure she had a good time.
Yeah.
But when she is in that camp,
right.
and so she holds those, like, this is how I feel. Like,
Mhm.
this, not even how I feel, like, these are my beliefs. Like, a trans woman is a woman. This is this, that is that. These are like core beliefs, but not that deep,
Yeah.
And so I think I intentionally was kind of prodding at that because I'm like, I don't know how I feel. Like, this is all,
Right.
I'm not a part of this. Like, I'm just spectating. I'm not in that world. I haven't come across that
You
at a
just
ball.
felt like you didn't know.
Yeah, and I was like, I just, some of the things she said, I pushed back on because I was like, doesn't that sound a little out there? Just to see how she would go.
Right.
And some people handle that, and some people, it
And
gets a
I
little
think like
dicey.
relatively she handled it well. I feel like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you guys did have a very good conversation, and I'm sure like maybe you see things maybe a little bit differently. Maybe she does. I don't know, but it was fun to listen to,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of like my portion was interacting with it a little bit, but it was interesting for sure.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it.
It's hard sometimes when you're talking to somebody about something they're really passionate about to try to play devil's advocate or like poke holes into it.
Right.
Even if those holes aren't valid, like if you're just way out there and you're like, okay,
Like, what is that?
yeah. I mean, we all have that. I think it's just working at that sometimes, And I didn't get that. I wouldn't say she got defensive because I've had people on here that have gotten
Pretty
I've said
defensive.
some stuff
yeah.
and they got defensive. I think she was just like, okay, this is what I believe. This is it, right?
I'll have to watch that. I'll have to watch it because it sounds like she had a good way about it.
It was interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't
no, it was
know.
good.
I had been wanting to talk to, and I was glad she came on, and I was glad Skyline came on because I was like, this is not my world.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Like trying to peel back the curtain to see, okay, what's going on?
What's going on
Because
here?
I've seen a lot of that sentiment about, people being transphobic for doing certain things or feeling certain types of way. And I'm like, that doesn't seem right.
Like when you guys talked about like, the Twitter thing about like someone like purposely, she was saying people like should be banned if they're purposely hurting someone's feelings on Twitter, like deliberately. And it's just like, yeah, they're a dick and they're an asshole, but like they shouldn't be kicked off the platform for it.
Yeah.
So, like they can say what they want to say. You can like it or
Yeah.
not, but they have the right to say what they want to say. You can agree with it or not, but you have to acknowledge the fact that they have the right to say what they want to say. So, yeah, they're being a dick, but I mean, they don't deserve to be
Banned.
kicked off, have their voice not heard because you didn't like what they said.
Did you know about that?
No,
Yeah.
I did not.
Twitter, if you dead name someone, so if somebody's born with a certain name and then they change it because they transition, and you call them that name they were born with, you will get banned from Twitter. Just for that.
And like I
If you
understand
purposely misgender, not even if it's purposeful, if you misgender somebody, you're.
and it's like I could understand where they're coming from to an extent,
Wow.
but at the same time, that's like, even if you do it accidentally, that's really extreme.
That
really
is extreme. That's super extreme, man.
But I mean, that's. I
What
mean,
if, like I grew up with this person all our lives,
And what if you just slipped? Like, what if you just didn't know
like
and
you
you just
can't-
commented on this one person's thing and you're like, okay, fuck.
and it's like you
Well-
can't say sorry because it's like I'm sorry doesn't change the fact what you said. It's just like, well, shouldn't it? I mean, can it?
I mean, there's gotta be a workaround, right?
And even the problem is there's some people, and I don't know the split. I don't know how many people believe that a trans person is what they say they are. Like a trans man is a man or a trans woman is a woman. I don't know how many people believe that. I don't know how many people don't. But I know there's a portion in both camps. And I don't think necessarily one is right or one is wrong.
No,
And I don't think you could.
I mean
You
unless
could-
it gets violent,
Yeah.
then it's
The
right
violence
and
is a
wrong.
problem.
Exactly.
Violence is
Anything
not good across the
violent
board.
no.
But forcing people to believe what you believe and just saying, this is my belief, and having that be the justification, that's crazy.
Oh yeah,
That is crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because then where does that stop?
Because then that just puts like an umbrella over everybody. If you don't
Everything.
if you don't think this way, then like you're the odd man out. Like it's just like, well, where we live, we have the right to feel how we want to feel and practice what we want to practice and do what we want to do. So it's just like, I don't know.
That's why I don't see anything changing. I just see things getting slightly worse. There's
That's
a little
my
glimpse
fear.
of hope, right? I see a little glimpse of hope here and there, but I don't see it getting any better.
My fear is it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
Well,
That's my fear.
I feel like we're only gonna see worse just because like there's a lot of times where it's just like even so many good things can happen
Yeah.
throughout the world every single day. Like a lot of the media will focus on bad stuff, or
Oh yes, please. Yeah.
will focus. Oh, I got one right there.
oh, shit.
Yeah, I prepped them up already, dude.
Wow, way to go.
There will
Yeah.
be like plenty good things happening in the world in a certain day, but then the media or whoever will focus on a lot of the bad things, and because it attracts more people get more involved and more emotionally attached to it because
Yeah.
they're angry, upset, whatever it is, and they have a hard time dealing with it.
It's just, I don't think anyone really has an open mind. I mean, there's people that do. Obviously, thank you, by the way.
Got you.
Yeah, thank you. But as far as like open mind, like hey, like what we said earlier, let's have a conversation about it because I'm uneducated. There's a lot of things I'm uneducated about.
excuse. I just go, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know what you're going through. I know what I'm going through, and I feel fine. What are you going through?
Yeah,
You don't seem so fine.
I think that's part of like some of the things that get talked about is just like you just gotta say like me personally or stuff like that because like you can't speak for anyone but yourself really because
Absolutely.
like you can like I can assume that you and I think the same way, but like I can't just bring you under my umbrella and just be like, oh yeah, we think this way. It's just like, oh, and I can speak for myself, and I think that should be important too when talking about
I feel like
certain
that's...
soon.
Dad,
What's up? Jesus, yeah. I mean, if you're about it, yeah.
want to shout something?
I mean, we can.
What do you want?
So you're about it, yeah. Whatever you want.
We've got vodka, Crown, Jameson,
Oh my goodness,
gin.
Jesus. This is hemp vodka.
No THC, but it's mint.
Oh my lord.
Shout out to Abe Stevens, humble distiller. I keep plugging that guy, but I like that.
Yeah,
That's a good vodka. Yeah, do you want one?
I'll try some. I'll try some.
take a little break here.
Get everything set
A
up.
little setup happening.
That's the beauty of the podcast, man.
I mean, I feel like just anything goes.
That's why I like this, is because there's no rules.
Yeah.
Like, you just...
Unless you put it on YouTube and they don't like what you...
Yeah, and then they pull it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that.
I was upset for you when that happened. I thought it was stupid.
I wasn't pissed.
What got taken down?
I did a video with Amy Gunderson.
Okay.
And to be fair, in all honesty, it was with her and her brother Gil. I can't think of his first name. His last name's Gil, but it's on there. And they were talking about how there was some fraud in the election, with Biden. And that information was going to come out. They were doing recounts, I believe. And information was going to come out that Trump had actually won the election. That's kind of the gist of what was going on. Not to put words in their mouth, but that's the gist.
Right.
And YouTube pulled that. They were like, you can't say anything about any election fraud. And I took a screenshot of what YouTube showed me and posted that. And I was like, this is fucking crazy. You can't even just talk. Even if it's
Don't
bullshit.
go political, man. Don't go.
You can't
don't
talk
go
about
political.
it. But how crazy is that?
I mean, they were saying that on the news and all that. Everything. Everyone. So why would your video get pulled down when it's already out there? Did he even have any final say about that?
I don't know what to believe with that. Because the idea that there was no fraud, and this, like, a lot of people are saying this is not a unique idea, but the idea that there was no fraud is kind of crazy.
Right.
But how much fraud?
Yeah.
I don't think it was enough for them to sway the election or anything.
I mean, I was thinking that regardless of who won, the losing side was going to say, "Oh, it was fraud. We need to recount this." I knew whoever lost was going to absolutely throw a fit. And
Happens though. It just happens.
But the problem is undermining the integrity of the election.
Right.
That's the problem.
And when that kind of stuff happens,
That's when it
there's a
gets
lot of people
dicey.
who believe like the elections are like a joke and they don't want to vote. Like there's a huge amount of people who are our age or in the same age group and just don't vote because they're just like, it's bullshit. I got bigger things to do with my time than this. Like I don't want to. But then there's plenty of people out there who obviously feel that's, they have to do it and they want to do it. And
I mean, I feel like it's something that you should do. You don't have to do, but you should do.
Yeah, I mean, I voted, but
yeah. I mean, that's just me. I don't know how anyone else feels about that, but the fact that if you get butthurt about something, you're not gonna appreciate anything else, man. You're gonna automatically say some bullshit about that, like you were saying. No matter which side, we're gonna say it. You're gonna say it. It's gonna happen. And then with that election, it wasn't even Trump versus Biden. It's just Trump, and like get rid of Trump side. There wasn't really a
there's
true
a lot of people
Biden.
There's a lot of people who didn't want Biden, but that's what they had, and so they're just
Exactly.
like, we'll just get him in there just to get Trump out. It's like, well, you're kind of voting for the wrong reason, but it's fine. I mean, that's your right to vote however you want to feel or vote however you want to vote, I guess. But in my eyes, that's doing it for the wrong reasons. But in other people's eyes, their reasoning was to get Trump out, so that was a good reason to vote for Biden.
It could have been anybody.
From what I see, it already looks like it's just not going good. So,
Bro, have you seen
I don't know.
Biden? That guy is just—he's barely hanging on.
I don't know.
He is
Something's
barely
a
hanging
little
on,
wrong. But hey, we voted for him.
There was something I saw. It was on TikTok. But it was like when Biden was still the vice president for Obama, and I think he was gonna run, but he actually hadn't started running yet for president. And the clip was he's on The View, which is like a talk show in the daytime or whatever. But I watched it, and it was, I don't know, a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and it was just making Biden look like a fool. And I went and like looked it up because I was like, I wanted to watch the whole thing because it was something to do with like him, like the alleged sexual assault charges against him or stuff like that was in his past, that he was trying to deal with. And I went back and watched the clip on YouTube, and it was like a 7-minute clip, so it wasn't a minute and a half, 2 minutes like it was on TikTok. It was like, a whole segment on that episode of The View, and the way it happened on YouTube is not the way it happened on TikTok. The way like on TikTok, I couldn't tell. Like it looked like one solid continuous video, nothing was stitched together, looked fine. But like on YouTube, it was like you could tell that was the real, like, what happened on TV, what happened then,
Right.
versus what happened. Like the TikTok video was so like well stitched together. I couldn't tell. Like I could not tell like where they cut it and like, merged it with the original footage and all this other stuff. I'm like, that's scary. Because how many people shared that and just ran with that, but didn't actually go and like
And thought that was the actual thing.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, not like everything he said in TikTok, he said on the YouTube video.
Yeah.
But it was cut different, edited different, like put together differently. So it's just like,
I wish we could pull these clips up, dude.
We can.
This is. Can we really?
Oh,
wow.
Tell me a clip. We're gonna see if this works because I've not tried it with our new arrangement, but
Really?
It was crazy. Like I'm not gonna be able to find the TikTok video, I don't think. But I mean, it was nuts. I mean, you could tell it was scary the amount of like work someone put into like make the TikTok.
Because there's like I don't know much about it, right? But all I hear about is like he's losing his freaking mind. Is he losing his freaking mind? Is this something that
I'll give him the guy this. He does have a stuttering problem. I do too, so I can't make fun of him for that. But it's just like he's not all there. Like he's losing his shit. I mean,
Do you think that's age?
It's definitely age. It's also the fact the guy's had major brain surgery.
Really?
Yeah, he had something that I think they call it the Widowmaker because most people die from it. And
That's a solid name to have. Wow.
Let's
Biden's
Google
brain
this.
surgery.
Is a survivor.
Here we go.
Google Widowmaker. Yeah, so he's had two
Second brain.
brain surgeries for aneurysms.
Yeah, second brain aneurysms. Wow.
In an artery that supplies blood to the right side of the brain. So that surgery was in 88, dude.
88.
88, and that was his second one in 88.
Oh wow.
So I mean, he wasn't super old.
That dude, that's 32.
No.
Is that 32 years ago?
So he's not crazy.
I don't
old.
know. You're the one go with the math, but
30,
yeah, that's a
like
good chunk.
30,
That's a good chunk of
that's
time.
33 years ago.
I mean, so he wasn't.
Oh,
I mean, he
wow.
wasn't in his prime back then, but he wasn't like.
It wasn't how old he is
He
now.
wasn't certainly. I mean, he wasn't old.
This is so legit. Oh my god. What's up?
Yeah,
dude?
I know, right?
This is so cool.
My
Holy
problem,
shit.
for whatever reason, we have become so divided where the left won't acknowledge anything that is negative about Biden, and the right, that's all they can see. So the left's not talking about, okay, shit feels like it's hitting the fan.
Yeah.
Shit feels like it's hitting the fan. Russia's trying to get at the Ukraine.
Yeah.
China definitely wants Taiwan.
That's cool.
Russia launched that anti-satellite missile that blew a bunch of fucking space debris, and the ISS had to evade it. China launched some hypersonic missile that went all the way around the world.
You're very knowledgeable about all this.
No,
dude.
I
Oh
just
my God,
I just see these and I'm like,
I just see these. Who are you talking to?
Dude, I just see it and I'm like, China conducted a hypersonic weapons test in July by sending a missile around the world at more than 5 times the speed of sound. Do you get how fucking crazy that is?
Wow.
Around the world at 5 times the speed of sound.
That's insane, dude.
The details of the test were shared by General John Hyten, the Vice Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the United States.
How long did it take for it to go completely around the world?
We're gonna find out right here. It took us by surprise, dude. U.S. intelligence. That's the craziest thing. They didn't know that China had this.
Wonderful.
Oh wow, good. That's good. That's our government.
That's what you want to
cool.
see.
That's cool.
I
feel good. I feel good.
Missed its target by about 24 miles. Okay, but dude, around the world, that's still pretty damn good.
That is pretty damn good.
24 miles. That's pretty damn good. But two said the test showed that China had made astounding progress on hypersonic weapons and was far more advanced than U.S. officials realized.
You think that was China's way of saying, like, hey, like
Dude, China wants Taiwan.
We're still a contender.
China wants Taiwan.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy about Taiwan? An insane amount of the chips. You know how people are freaking out about chips with like cars and stuff?
Trucks, yeah.
Yeah.
Most of those chips and computers are made in Taiwan.
Oh.
Like a lot. It's either 50% or 80%. For some reason, I want to say it's 80%.
China is already making everything. So now they just want to.
But if they, dude, if they get that,
yeah,
they can fuck with us. They can fuck with us.
In what way would you say?
We need those chips.
You gotta have the chips, their computers and cars.
Yeah. We're not making those chips over here. So if China just cuts off our access, I don't know how long it would take to build an infrastructure to make those chips again here.
It would be goddamn expensive.
It's gonna take a while.
Yeah.
I don't think it says.
I'm just learning as we go. We were looking up now.
I was trying to see if it said how long. It doesn't. It doesn't say how long it took.
I don't think it said. It hasn't said so yet. At least.
What was that clip? Do you remember what it was talking about?
If you just look on, just look up Joe Biden on The View.
So they just tested their weapon. It's off by 24 miles, right?
Which is, dude, around the world.
Around the world.
And
that's
here's the
pretty
crazy. You want to know what's really
accurate, bro.
crazy?
It's the top one right there, the 7.5 minute one.
You want to know what's really crazy?
Yeah.
They have photos. The U.S. intelligence. I don't know what branch who got these photos. They have photos that China has built mock U.S. destroyers out in some region in China for testing. So like
Wow.
Mock U.S. ships.
Yeah.
They've built. Let me see if I can find that. That's what this episode's gonna be. I gotta get somebody in here just to Google shit, man. This shit like this. China built mock-ups of U.S. warships for possible target practice. Dude,
See,
China is playing 3D chess, and we're not even fucking playing checkers.
No.
We're playing like Connect 4. We're
They're
over
ahead
here
of
worried
their
about
shit,
gender and how you feel, and China's like, we're gonna go fuck these people up.
Yeah.
I feel like our politics just go all around the world. Because even my cousins from like Australia and like New Zealand, they talk about us and all that bullshit.
Like
They're kept up with our
There
political
was-
bullshit.
It was it happened a while ago. There was like a kid who had like a TikTok video or whatever. And I'm assuming he's probably like our age. I'm not too sure. But he was just like, why can't we be more like China? And I'm like,
That's what dude, I've had people on this podcast
Yeah.
that back at the beginning of COVID, they were like, I think China's handling COVID really well. And that was back when China had locked everybody down and wouldn't let people leave their house. And they're like, I think
See,
China's got a point.
some people think that was a good thing though, because then it was just like, oh, the quarantine for 2 weeks and it was over. And
But was it over? That's the thing.
Yeah.
You can't trust.
Yeah.
Dude, you got to be really skeptical with anything that's coming out of there.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's take a peek at this. This is the Joe Biden thing.
Nice smile. Yeah, look at
See,
you.
this was, you can't see a date on how old this was. I mean, this was right 2 years ago.
They
over on-
uploaded it on April 26, 2019. So I don't know.
Okay.
Somewhere around there.
There you go.
Look at how old he looks then.
How long ago was this? Last year?
2019.
Yeah, so 2 years ago.
Yeah.
In April. Is this the clip? He looks semi-coherent here.
I mean, he's doing
you
good.
get a
So
little
am I.
bit farther off, and it just, I mean,
Yeah.
He starts stumbling. Let's see if we can get that.
I mean, he looks fine to me. Okay.
Well, have you seen the video where he starts talking about like corn pop and like his hair and people feeling his legs, and it's like, dude, what is happening
No,
right
I
now?
have not. That's something we got put on though.
Let's
Right.
see. Right around here. 536 and 540.
I mean, he has a speech problem. Yeah.
Oh shit! I didn't mean to click
I
that.
mean, he does stutter.
I mean,
He does stutter, but
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
he
not
does
a knock
stutter.
against the guy.
That's fine.
no, it's just, but there was a part in that video, like,
Where he was just.
if anyone
messing
else
up.
wants to go check it out, 7.5 minutes on like Joe Biden The View or whatever, but it was like, he absolutely lost 100% focus on what the hell they were talking about for a minute. Like
Check this. Let's check this clip. This is former Vice President Joe Biden's verbal gaffe. So this is obviously going to be skewed towards him messing up, but
Caucus. Okay. Just like, what?
guys. Oh shit. And this is 2020, man. Listen, the problem is it feels like there are moments when he's talking where he doesn't know where he is.
yeah,
That he just gets lost and he starts struggling. And that's not a knock against him,
I mean,
but he's
how old is he? Like,
at
how old
80s.
is he? 80s.
I think
So he's up there.
I'm gonna guess 82.
I'm going to guess 84.
All right, I'll be the 83.
79. Okay.
79.
But dude,
We're all
that's
just a bunch of
He's only
assholes.
4 years older than Donald Trump, though.
Yeah, but Trump actually looks like he could.
Well,
he
yeah, no,
gets
Trump was
around.
there. He
Right.
was on it. You know, I mean, I'm sure there was times where he messed up his speech and everything too. Had his fair share of like
Oh
interview.
yeah, Trump says some wild shit.
Yeah,
He said
for
a
sure.
lot of wild
Yeah.
shit,
Oh yeah,
dude.
for sure.
man.
But I mean, like, he was definitely a lot more coherent and like on it than Biden is.
The problem-
79 years, wow.
Which is, dude,
That's
we
a
can't
long
pretend like
time,
that
dude.
isn't.
That's a long time.
Which it's fine. Like I'm not gonna be ageist against him, but 2 brain surgeries and 79, and he's not holding up well.
Right.
That's what freaks me out because we've got some shit, like not in a conspiratorial kind of way, but dude, I think some shit's coming down the pipeline.
One thing that I did, sometimes I think it should be a part of like if you're gonna be president, like have it in your background is like being in the military.
That's what I think.
Like if you're gonna
Yeah.
have,
I
like if
think
you're gonna
that.
have command of like a nation's army or military, you should have had some sort of play in that. But I've also, because Sabrina's told me, she's like, yeah, well, I mean, what if, the person gets out of the military and they have like PTSD and like it fucks with their head or whatever, and they get in there, like, how is that gonna be? I'm like, no, that's fair. Like that's,
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? That could happen.
You don't want someone to be trigger happy with the
No.
the nuke codes and all that.
Yeah, so I mean,
So-
like that could definitely, that's a worry for sure that I didn't think about until I had that conversation with her, but it was still just like, I mean, like Eisenhower and so, people other like that, like that's pretty damn cool that they served for the nation. Now they're
Yeah.
continuing to serve the nation for, as president and everything. So I thought that was pretty cool and it should be like part of the criteria possibly. I mean, I
This
don't
is
know.
gonna
I
bite
mean,
me in
it's-
the ass someday, but dude, I think I agree with that. If you
Yeah.
want to lead the country, to know that you're legit, you should have to.
You should have
to serve
leadership
someday.
experience, man.
Not
especially
even
in
that,
the
but you should
military.
have to. You should be, if you want to lead especially as president,
Yeah.
you should have to serve. You should have to put some skin in the game so that we know you're not just in it for money or in it for the political clout.
Yeah.
And all those things could still be possible, obviously. if you were in the military, but it's just like I think a lot more people could get behind you no matter what side you're on if you actually served in the country or served for the country in the military. Like I think a lot more people would definitely like respect you a lot more just for that aspect alone. But to really add that to your criteria of why you should be president, I think that adds to it.
I mean, I feel like also another criteria. I mean, this is probably just me being picky. It's like you should know how to run a business. You should know how to run a business.
People say that. People say that you should have some business experience, but that kind of worries me. I kind of support it, but it kind of worries me at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I had a great talk with my dad about this actually. If you tried to run the country like a business, we're fucked. Because this was my dad's example. I'm not going to do it justice, but I'm going to try to lay it out. If I'm a business person and my business is logging, my job is to cut down as many trees as I can. That's it.
Okay.
Like I don't give a fuck about protecting the environment. My job's to cut down trees and sell those trees as timber.
Right.
So if I ran the country like that, we're not going to have any more trees. Because I know I can't cut down all the trees in my lifetime. So what do I give a fuck? I'm trying to just cut down as many as I can as fast as I can for as long as I can. That is kind of my problem with the business mentality because these are people we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. There's people we're talking about. I feel like you should be able to like pick and choose a moment when one skill is necessary and when one is not.
I think being savvy with money, being like financially responsible, I think... Because that is kind of tied into business, but I think that would be my bigger thing. Because a lot of these fucking people in Congress don't know how to manage money. They're blowing money on...
How much money are we in debt still? Like a lot? Like I mean, I know it's a lot. Hold on. I know it's a lot.
I'm just going to clip this as me just like pulling shit up this whole episode. U.S. national debt. It's going to be insane.
This is how
it's going to be trillions.
It's gonna be Where's all these numbers, dude? What the fuck is that?
U.S. national debt. We're at usdebtclock.org. Yeah. Is that 28
trillion?
Nah, way.
Is that 28 trillion? That's thousands, millions, billions. That's $28 trillion. Debt per citizen is at $87,000.
Debt per taxpayer is $230,000.
So what's
But see, what does that even fucking mean? Like, what is that? Looking at that, what does that mean?
It means that's the country we're fucked.
U.S. federal tax revenue is $4 trillion. But I mean, how does that get? Like, I'm so ignorant with this. How are we spending that much money?
I don't know.
$28 trillion.
I don't know. I really don't know. There's a shit ton of billionaires out there.
For being $28 trillion in debt, we should have our own little 4 times the speed of sound missile.
Hypersonic missile? Yeah.
You would think. Around the world. Yeah, I would think we should
have
one.
I bet we have some shit.
No, we definitely have stuff that we don't know, that we don't know about that we're frankly until the point comes, maybe we don't need to know about. Maybe.
Well, we've been in debt the whole time, right? The whole time this nation has been a thing, yeah?
Yeah, I believe so.
I mean, pretty much, yeah. We're
gonna Google this.
Are you gonna Google it? Wow, it's gonna be like 50 years ago. That's such.
I don't think so. I don't think we've been in debt.
No, it's not gonna be like 50 years ago.
Damn, the U.S. government first found itself in debt in 1790 following the Revolutionary War.
Yeah, so pretty much ever since we've been.
Yeah, so
since then the debt has been fueled over the centuries by more war and by economic recession. 1790.
We've always been in debt. We've never, not once have we not been in debt. I mean, I could also be uneducated.
Listen to this. The U.S. has had debt since its inception. Our records show that debts incurred during the American Revolutionary War amounted to $75,463,000. Oh, okay, I fucked that up. That's $75,463,476.52.
And that was in after the Revolutionary War. Like how much money that was
money
just after the I mean,
and back then, how much money that was back then?
I was just gonna say, is that the money we were in debt like in today's currency, or is that like
that's probably back then?
That's probably a good chunk of that.
That's the Treasury
right now.
Direct.gov. That's crazy, dude. I'm worried about this next this next election, not the midterms. I think the midterms are gonna swing red.
Yeah,
But the
'cause
next
with all
president,
this racism, right? All the race talk, all the are you with the blues or are you not with the blues or all that bullshit with that side of it. And then now this, we got missiles in the air for like the whole around the world. I don't see things getting better.
you want to hear something crazy?
I don't see things getting better.
And I'm just reiterating this. I've done zero research on this, but I've
Yeah.
heard on a podcast. It was the JRE podcast that one of
Love
the
that
key
podcast.
factors of the Roman Empire's decline was that they got so focused on sex and gender that it just imploded from inside. They broke down these fundamental laws, I guess you could say, that held their society together,
Okay.
and it just crumbled. And then external forces, wars, just chipped away at it. And it kind of feels like that's where we're
I was
at
gonna
now.
say, sounds a little
Kind of
familiar.
feels like it.
A little bit, maybe.
You can turn that too if you want. You can.
Oh no, we're good.
Okay.
I've heard they're pushing more
I gotta get
towards
another mic like this
women
now
getting
over there.
drafted in the military.
Hmm?
I've heard they're pushing more towards the women to get drafted.
You want to
in the
hear a hot
military.
take?
What's up?
And I literally just am thinking about this as you're saying it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Women in the military.
See, when I think about that, I'm thinking about my wife being in the military and being drafted, and I don't like it.
Well, here's the crazy thing.
I don't like it.
There are different standards for men and women in the military, right?
Right.
That's just a fact.
Yeah.
Which I get for jobs where they're not in combat, but don't you think that if they're going to combat, they should have to hit the same bar?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
I'm
because
not
we're gonna be
saying-
fighting the same people.
We're gonna be fighting the same war.
Yeah, so like,
So if I have to be able to lift my comrade to get him off the battlefield so that they don't die, shouldn't you be after me? And this is a completely ignorant opinion, but
I mean,
just for me, that
facts,
kind of
though.
sounds like that.
I mean, is it like
I've always thought that was a little
Mm,
interesting.
maybe it's
don't get me
like
wrong,
for
there's
like,
women out there can.
for like the comrade who's like has to lift their the other comrade out out of the mud and carry him over the wall or whatever to help him out. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think like the standard is set for like one woman to carry another woman? Or
Well, I
mean,
know that they
yeah.
have different they have different like PT requirements and
Right.
stuff. Like they don't have to do as many push-ups and pull-ups,
Right.
which I
get, but I
it.
don't. I get, but I don't.
I get it if it's for jobs that don't require any combat. But once combat is involved, there should be a baseline everybody has to hit.
There should
Because
be.
war doesn't give a fuck if you're
No.
a woman.
yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Like,
Absolutely not.
Once those bullets start flying. And that's what I didn't get, like, transgender people going into war or going into the military. Like, that feels a little dicey, too.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing. It's just like, well, the U.S. government's at that point is going to be like, okay, well, what were you born as? And I think that's what they're going to go off of for
Dude,
that.
they're issuing...
I mean, the military
it's-
doesn't give a shit.
It just feels like we're so focused on this gender stuff that, like, common sense is kind of taking a back seat.
I feel like common sense has been taking a back seat for a good hot minute now. Like, with a lot of this shit going on. But, like, I don't know. When it comes to combat, you need to be able to do what I need to do. Because if I get taken out, I need to rely on you to do what I need to do. Like, isn't that how the principle of war goes? Like, someone dies, you take on their job. I may not know.
I don't know, but war is a different beast.
It
and I don't
is.
think we should be... And
Like, it's not something that I ever want to see happen. But they're testing missiles to go completely around the world now. And aiming at ships that look like ours.
How fucking crazy is that?
That's crazy, right?
How fucking crazy is that?
And, like, I have no knowledge about, like, I don't have any real knowledge about anything that's really going on. And that's kind of fucking scary on its own.
I can guarantee, though, your life, your calmer
I'll say your day to day is
is
probably
calmer.
Yeah, but
Because, dude, I think about this shit and it stresses me the fuck out. and I have to stop thinking about it.
having your head in your your head in the sand is not that bad.
Ignorance is
until,
bliss, baby.
Until you pull it out, and it's just like, holy.
I'm going back in the sand.
It is, but there's like I'm living in my own little world. But the real world out there is getting darker and darker.
Yeah, but that
know?
I mean, that's that's a fine line to walk and a hard line to walk when you're just like, yeah, there's all this stuff in the world that like I feel like I should be worrying about, but like I have my own personal shit that I have to worry about, and like I can't worry about the world's problems. I can't worry about the U.S.'s problems. I can't worry about my neighbor across the street because I'm too busy worrying about my family stuff, my own stuff. Like that can be an overwhelming like topic for someone or an overwhelming task for somebody to sit there and try and think about all the things they think about, whether personal or
dude,
nation or world stuff. It's like, no, thank you.
Absolutely. Especially if your day to day is like worrying about your own family, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's people that you're over here like worried about paying rent. You don't want to think about like China taking over America.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you got your own roof over your head to worry about before anything else.
You've got real problems. You've got real problems to worry about. That's like the gist. Like, most people have legitimate shit they have to worry about.
I mean, it's just like, though, but like, I should be educated about what's going on, though. Like, at some point in my mind, I should be able to pull up something and be like, all right, yeah, I know that we're not going so well. I already kind of felt like when we're going so well, but now that we're getting more in depth about it, it's just like confirming that I'm like, oh, okay.
Caz is just over here like,
it's just scary.
Like, it's just scary.
I came into this podcast to have a good time, and now the world's fucking ending.
I really
What
did,
I
and
miss
now I'm finding out about a whole bunch of different shit. And then, like, I knew about the missile going around the world. I didn't know that they had like legit
those mock-ups.
yeah, of our destroyers, right?
I mean, I didn't know that, but I can't say I'm surprised.
If they're
I'm
only
really not
off,
surprised.
But they're only off like by 24 miles. Can you imagine? Like, they
Yeah,
just
that's
need to
pretty
tweak
fucking
something,
good.
right?
Yeah, I mean, 24 miles.
Comparatively,
that's
that's probably like a bullet drop on a rifle.
Like, I'm not a fucking
Like,
engineer, but I feel like that's just like, all right, we just need to
that's
dial
pretty
this
fucking,
real
dude.
quick.
NASA, we're going all over the place here, but NASA just launched a rocket to intercept. Yeah. NASA just launched a rocket to intercept an asteroid some crazy distance away to try to get it to split or alter its to alter its trajectory so that it misses some other asteroid. As like a mock-up for Earth, like if there was an asteroid coming that was going to hit Earth, they could.
Yeah, the future is here, man. Yeah,
Dude, we're gonna look back on this and be like, pretty wild. Pretty fucking wild time.
I blame the internet, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, for as much good and as much research as it does, I mean, clearly right here.
The problem is, what do you do with all that?
There's a lot of bad out there too.
There's nothing in the history of anything that has evolved as fast as the internet. Nothing in the history of anything.
That could be a fair statement.
Yeah.
Nothing in the history of the universe has ever evolved as fast as the internet.
What do you guys make of this metaverse that Facebook's building?
It's scary and cool at the same time. Scary and cool.
I really don't like Facebook.
Well, now they're making it so that way you can put it in the red cup. They're making it so that way let's say you and your family member are across the state, coast to coast, right? You would be able to conversate with them as if you were in the same room.
A phone call does the same thing.
A phone
call does the
FaceTime.
same thing.
You got FaceTime.
I mean, it's if you want to talk to somebody, you can do a phone call.
But it's like a different experience when
No,
they're trying to make it where, like, right here, you and I, you and me.
Ready Player One.
Exactly.
That's what
Yeah.
we're building towards.
yeah.
Exactly.
I think that's just gonna lead toward. It was funny because what scared me even as a kid watching it was Wall-E. All the fat people in the chairs and everything gets done for
Yeah,
them and everything.
man.
That is
They don't even walk.
and we were like children when that thing came out, and that was scary even then. I'm like, especially after I got older and like watched it, like when you're in high school, I think we watched it as like a movie for a chill day or whatever, and I was like, that's terrifying because that's really
But
some
it's,
people
like,
some people it
accurate.
seems far fetched, but to me even that like in that moment and even now it's like that's very possible, and it probably isn't that really that far away because that's really scary that everything is just AI done for you. You hit screens, push buttons, and then everything's just done for you, brought to you, whatever. And then you're just a fat person sitting in a chair.
That's why I'm a little thrown off about the whole autopilot thing with Tesla and all that.
Oh, there's a bunch of cars.
I need to be
that do
able to
that.
drive my own car.
I mean, there's GMCs that do that. There's Toyotas that do. I mean, there's so much stuff. I mean, some of it's cool. Like I watched a video on the Ford Lightning, and it's like it's all electric. And
Sick
like,
truck.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
I mean, it's neat as hell. But I mean,
Do you want to slide me that?
Yeah, dude, I got
they
you.
can charge your house and all this other stuff. I mean, it's pretty cool. But I mean, we're not.
Can charge other cars. That's pretty
Yeah.
badass.
But it's just like we're not ready. Like we're still just not there with electric cars for it to be superior to gas. I don't think.
I really feel like we're not that far off, though.
I don't think we're gonna get there eventually.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's gonna take 50 years to get there. I don't think
it's
that
closer
long.
than what we think it is.
That's what I think.
I could agree
most
with that.
people realize.
I could agree with that, but you look around, like even in town, it's just like how many actual like there's a handful. I mean, yeah, you could go to your house and charge it, but it's like if you go on a trip, you got to find a charging station. The charging station is a lot harder to find than a gas station.
Yeah, but
And a charging station usually there's only like, from what I've seen, 5 or 6 in one area maybe. Like the ones at the mall, it's like half of them are Tesla and the other half are for anyone else. But there's only like 6 there.
yeah.
And you know, you go to a gas station, there's 6 at one. There's 6 pumps at one station, and there's countless gas stations around just in Eureka. So it's like gas is so much more practical right now. I'm not saying that electric won't be practical at some point but it's something to think about. It's like there's not even a station that's like a gas station where you can, and even when you do, like you're gonna be there for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And just to get a partial charge. I mean, some of the chargers can charge your car in like an hour and a half, which is pretty good. But I mean, I can put fuel in my truck in 5 minutes and drive 300 miles. I don't need to wait an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I think hydrogen
That's actually a fair
is
point.
the future.
Yeah.
I think that's where it's going to go.
Hydrogen. Are they
Hydrogen
doing...
cars fill up as fast as gas cars. And you can get better distance. There's just no infrastructure. Tesla came to the market and just crushed the infrastructure, and hydrogen was just kind of like put on the back burner. And the only thing that it produces is water. Like hydrogen cars.
Yeah, but then so what would you have to do with your like you fill it up with water?
You fill it up with hydrogen. Yeah.
And then it just produces water.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be that's a money issue though. Right? Wouldn't that be like a money thing? Like, hey, one company.
I think
this is a great idea, but one company is gonna miss out.
Some companies are building hydrogen cars.
Really?
It's just gonna be like electric. It's just gonna like what Tesla did for electric cars. It's just gonna take one company to really break through and do it, and then everyone else will start doing it. Once all the groundwork and the hard work is done.
It's the groundwork. That's the problem. Tesla. The reason I think Tesla really made it is because they put up all those charging stations. Like if Tesla didn't have that, nobody would buy those, because where are you going to charge your car? Like gas stations are everywhere. Tesla charging stations are now everywhere. There's not really a hydrogen spot. Like we haven't really built the infrastructure yet for the cars to come out and make a difference.
I haven't even really heard anything about hydrogen cars.
I mean, there's been talk since like the 70s of cars running on water. I mean, there's been
Dude, we've had electric cars.
Yeah, there was electric cars in the 70s.
No, there were electric cars, I think, in the 1800s.
Really?
No bullshit.
I know
they just made that up.
I know there's been like, they weren't like mass produced, but there was like production cars that were either fully electric or partially electric, even in the 70s. So it's like
1832.
Yeah.
Robert Anderson develops the first crude electric vehicle. But it wasn't until the 1870s or later that electric cars became practical.
So even then, like...
Dude.
Wow, dude. And they really... Another thing.
It's a money thing.
But yeah,
it's a money thing.
It's a money thing.
It's because there was
petroleum.
Money. So there was money in gasoline and oil to run your car. There wasn't money in electricity to run your car. Like...
The first gas car was in 1893. It's almost 20 years later. That's crazy.
And I'm pretty sure it was Ford that had like the first like mass produced like gasoline engines and stuff was Ford.
Wow.
So
big ups to them.
Dude, how nice are those old Model Ts?
Look them up, dude. Look them up. Hold on.
You know what a Model T looks like? Model A?
No. I'm probably due by like picture.
They got wooden wheels.
Dude, these things are so fucking sweet. Look at that.
Dude. I've seen those.
Like, look at how far we've come.
That's
that's
sick
nice.
right there. That's nice.
That's what you do with the Model
That's
A.
nice.
1927 Ford Model T.
Yeah, you chop the roof off and you drop and you put a big old motor in it.
Big old motor. Big old motor.
No, but
we've come a long way.
Like electric cars are gonna get there, and I think they're very close. I think they're nice. Like talking with some people, they're like completely against electric cars. Like I'm never gonna drive one, and I'm like I'm not gonna say that because I think I'd be
it's
lying.
The future.
I think I'd be lying if
is.
I said I'm never gonna drive one because I will, but it's like, personally I enjoy like hearing the exhaust note of my truck. I enjoy hearing like how loud it is. It's not, you can't get that with like an electric vehicle really, but
can't.
I mean, you can get, but that Ford Lightning does so much more, absolutely way more things than my truck could ever dream of doing. So it's just like,
they're just
that's,
better.
That's
the problem.
I mean, that's the future.
That's the real problem.
For Lightning looks like.
It looks like an F-150, but it's all electric.
All electric.
Yeah.
That's it.
The Ford Lightning was like originally like in the 90s. It was like a
Look at that. That looks so
that that was the second gen Lightning. That was
it really?
That was a
I hadn't
second
seen
gen
that one.
Lightning.
I've
that's
only
the
seen
second
this
gen,
one.
That's the second gen Lightning. That because the Lightning was a thing back in the 90s
looks
and the
sick,
early
dude.
2000s.
We're
where it
looking at a
was-
picture of the
That looks nice.
2001 Ford SVT F-150 Lightning, and
They done good on that one.
it looks. That one looks a little rough. I like this one, the 2022 one, better.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't know they made one back in 2001.
they made ones in the 90s too.
I didn't know that.
Well, the 90s and the 2000s, it was like it was a performance truck.
Did it just not catch on? Is that why they?
No, they're
dropped them?
huge. I mean, in the car culture, they're huge.
Why didn't Ford hit electric more then?
Because it wasn't it wasn't a moneymaker then. It's a moneymaker now. People were pissed. Car enthusiasts, so many people were upset when they called this the Lightning because the Lightning was like a performance truck. And when they brought the Lightning as like a normal F-150 that's just a practical daily driver, they were pissed because it lost the race,
Right.
calling
Right,
card
right,
of the
yeah.
Lightning, which I can understand, but it's just like that Lightning is quick. Like the new one can go 0 to 60 in like 4 seconds.
So see, there's no problem. There's
Yeah,
no
so it's
problem.
like, and it's like,
It's the future.
when
yeah,
I mean, you can't fight it.
It's the first one they made, so it's like I'm sure they're gonna make one with a bigger battery that has more torque, more.
Well, look at that one.
everything
That's
else,
a Ford Lightning Raptor. Hits tough terrain in unofficial renderings.
Yeah, because they haven't done that yet, but they're gonna.
Isn't the Mustang going electric?
It's
Did I hear that?
disgusting. It's
Is
called.
that what they're
it's
doing?
called
That feels.
It's
dope.
called the Mustang Mach E, and it's ugly.
It's ugly.
It's god awful. It's terrible.
I don't know if they should start making muscle cars electric yet.
Oh, but that's the thing. It's like you make.
How
them,
would you make it?
There's so many people who make like Dodge.
Yeah.
Their company's alive right now because of making Hellcats and 1,000 horsepower, 700 horsepower cars.
Yeah.
People are gonna lose their minds when Dodge finally breaks down. It's just like, oh, we gotta go electric because they have to soon. I mean, I would guarantee within the next 5 years they're gonna have something.
If they were
electric.
smart, they'd split it and make some electric, whatever, some Hellcats that are electric and some
Right.
gas powered.
Right.
That'd be the way to do it.
Just slowly ease into it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Dude, I'm gonna miss like a manual transmission because you're not.
Those are
getting
hard to
that.
find even now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, in the new Lightning, your gear shifter can they have not when you're driving, but like if you're just in park or whatever, you have the ability to like fold your shifter down, and then your center console like folds out to cover it, and it's like a flat surface. So if you're like, you need to like if you're on like a job site and you need to write something down or
you got all that extra
your
space.
laptop area, you have it. And it's like the F-150,
Super
like the Lightning
practical.
is cool
Wow.
because like it comes with so many outlets and stuff that you can like charge your tools on a job site and like run your job site for multiple days on just the truck alone. Like it's stuff like that that a normal pickup can't do.
Dude,
It's like
I'm gonna blame it on the internet. Again, bro. Like I swear anything internet related, like tech and like electric vehicles, they're just gonna take off to a whole nother direction.
Well, I feel like this is good. I mean, the argument against oil is pretty solid. But they say that the batteries that they use in these electric rigs are pretty bad.
are
for the
terrible to
environment.
make.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
Like,
anything about
really
I don't
bad.
know any.
Really?
I haven't looked into it. Yeah, they say it's really bad. Like,
I think you and I talked about on like the very first time I was on the podcast, but it was like, it's like I haven't looked into it, but I've heard they're terrible to sit there and make all the like the batteries and everything to put into them.
Also, they're super expensive.
Well, yeah, I mean they're
Mad
they're,
expensive.
they're
Yeah.
they're expensive to
Mad
replace,
expensive.
but I mean they're super harmful to make.
it's not as clean as everybody thinks it is.
Really?
Yeah.
like
Clean to drive, but not clean to make.
Batteries. I think the batteries are the worst part.
Well, there was one of our trucks at work for one of the propane trucks. It's like it's not brand new, but it's newer, so it's like has all the emissions stuff on it, so it makes it less harmful for the environment. There's not like, even though it's a semi, you're not blowing black smoke at the stack and everything, you know. But I mean, when it fell apart and it started like putting that stuff into the cab, everything that it's supposed to be burning off just went straight into the cab, and one of our drivers, like, he didn't feel good like the rest of the day.
Oh, no,
he's like, everything that it's supposed to burn off and kill and everything like that, I mean, it just all went straight into the cab. Instead of going out the tailpipe out the back, it went all into the cab.
See,
and so it's just like, you know, it's a malfunction. That's something that went haywire and wasn't obviously designed that way.
No,
but it was an accident, and
they want to intentionally kill their customers and all that.
Well, dude, they say living in a big city shortens your life by like 7 to 10 years just because of all the brake dust.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised, dude. I mean, look at all the traffic.
But how, like, that's a crazy thing that almost feels conspiratorial if you get down into it, is like how much we're fucking up the air and the environment.
Well, you can see it. Like, I remember driving to Vallejo one time, and I'm like, what the? It was like, it's a sunny, warm day.
Thick ass smog.
Oh, dude.
Smog,
yeah, you
dude.
just see that. I'm like, what the hell? I asked my mom, what the hell is that? And she's like, it's all the smog. And I'm like, huh?
What
are you talking about? And she's like, all the
got?
stuff, like all the smog that the city, like it's all like, that's just a spot where it's all collecting. It's just randomly right there. And I'm like, and I mean, like, again, beautiful blue sky, warm day. It's like, it looks red / purple over in this area with like rain clouds that are like super. And I'm like, that's disgusting.
There's a multitude of things, dude. Also the water, like LA tap water.
Even in Vegas,
you can't even drink that.
Or even in Vegas, like you ask water, it's $1.50 for a bottle of water. You can't drink the water in Vegas.
I don't think I knew that.
Not unless you have it like filtered. I mean,
don't drink it.
You if you don't have a special like filter for your house or your tap or whatever, I mean, you have to drink bottled water.
How crazy is that? we have spots in the U.S. I mean, Flint, Michigan. We have spots in the U.S. where you can't even drink the water that's running through your taps.
Is that just a U.S. thing?
No, dude. If you were like in the slums in India, I wouldn't drink anything. I would drink anything. Okay. Dude, have you seen those?
India, China, like I'm sure there's plenty of spots in South America.
Hands down.
Oh, dude, no.
Rio. Look at this. Look at these. These are the slums in India, and we're talking about millions of people just stacked in these places.
I mean, there could be 20 people living in that little of a shack right there.
Right there.
We just for those just listening, we just Googled slums in India, and I mean, you have no shortage of pictures. It's just trash. It's just trash and makeshift houses.
I mean, the roofs are just completely just tin and aluminum and tarps and.
So I knew the poverty was bad, like across the world with this, but I was talking like about their bigger cities. Like, do their bigger cities even have the same issues as ours?
Dovri is a locality in Mumbai, Maharashtra, India, considered to be one of Asia's largest slums. Dovri has an area of just over 2.1 square kilometers.
Nice.
0.81 square miles, 520 acres, and a population of about 1 million people, dude, living in that. 1 million people.
It's not even a square mile. That's not even a square mile, and there's 1 million people.
1 million people.
1 million people, bro. Wow, man. And that puts it in perspective, because like we live like this on a day-to-day basis.
I don't think people realize it.
No, yeah. I mean,
I don't think people really realize it.
I will give people credit to where like U.S. definitely has its problems and all that, but
it can always get worse.
I would feel pretty good about betting that there's not a square mile where there's 1 million people living anywhere in the US.
Exactly.
Dude, I tell you what, I'd rather be homeless here than live in Dharavi.
That's facts.
The problem is most people never see that or experience anything close to that. Like, you're just living your life, and so shit happens to you that's bad. Like, that's all you have to compare it to. You're not comparing it to this.
I thought about it yesterday, because obviously it was Black Friday yesterday, and I'm just like, how rich of a country we are to sit there and have a day specifically designed to go out and spend money on things that you do not need.
You don't need at all.
I mean,
Oh man.
you can find plenty of justifications for it. Hey, my TV is old and I need a new one. Those guys never seen a TV in their life.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
Yeah.
so it's like the fact that we are so above and beyond, like we have a specific day where everyone, so many like jobs and like places of work are closed early just to have a specific day to go out and spend money on things you don't need. I mean, I really thought about it for a few minutes yesterday and it just blew me away. I'm like, how
crazy is that?
That's
like
crazy,
where
man.
we're standing, it gets pretty cool, but from where we're standing, I'm like, that's terrible.
That is terrible, man. That's
Dude,
just,
there are
like,
people that will
absolutely
live
nuts.
and die without ever wearing shoes.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
What?
Right?
I mean, again, we have lots of problems here in the U.S. Don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, it's definitely one of the best places in the entire world to live, and so it's just like people want to. It's like, oh, you know, there's so many countries who are above and beyond so many things that we do. I'm like, look at
Look
that.
what frustrates me.
Look what's going
but
on.
a lot of people are just like, well, you're looking at a third world country versus us, and it's just like, yeah, it could be a lot worse.
Exactly.
Could be a lot worse. I'm not saying we have it perfect. I'm not saying we don't have things to work on, and we're definitely by no means perfect in any sense of the word. But I mean, and that's not saying that we shouldn't fix anything because it could be a lot worse. It doesn't mean we should just stop working on things that could be fixed and should be fixed and addressed just because it could be a lot worse. But it could be a lot worse.
It could be a lot worse.
Nobody wants to acknowledge that, though.
No.
It's really easy to complain.
Yeah. That's the problem. It's easier to complain than it is to put in the work to do something about it.
But when you do put in the work, though, when you actually do pull through and you put in the work and then you pull something that's like that you accomplish into actual existence, then it's just 100% more worth it.
I gotta take a piss. You guys keep talking.
It's 100% more worth it, dude. Honestly.
But people are lazy too.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like, I mean, I was over at my brother's house and like directly across the street, we were just talking about just upkeeping your house. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like I'm not saying you should go out and like renovate your home and make it look top notch all the time, but it's just like, you shouldn't have a fern or you shouldn't have greenery growing on your roof or out of your gutter. Like, you should, like, I'm seeing plenty of homes that people live in that there's just like a fern that grows out of the ground. And it's just growing out of their gutter and their roof.
It's just,
and it's just like, I understand not having the money to fix the roof, you know, but it's just like, you should address something, like get up there on the ladder, pull the fern, like pressure wash all the moss, greenery stuff away, like try and do somewhat work to at least make your home feel somewhat decent. But some people are just so lazy, they're just like, oh, it's not leaking, and then it goes to, oh, it's not leaking bad.
Right.
And it's just like, oh, well, that room, you know, that room leaks a lot, but we're gonna go over here in this other room where it doesn't leak yet.
Just laziness, man.
Oh yeah, there's so much of it.
Just laziness. It's like 100%. Like, if you'd much rather complain and then just look at the problem and get worse than to get a little dirty and fix the issue. Like I can't stop looking at that, bro.
No,
like,
and I mean, it's crazy because like some of the stuff that like you see like right here,
yeah,
it's like in movies and stuff too.
Yeah.
I mean, like when they, you know, certain films will obviously film certain parts of their movies, other parts of the world, you know, even places like that. Like the only, like one thing that this reminds me of is, it's going to sound stupid, but like in one of the Fast and Furious movies where they're in Rio.
Right.
And they're literally running across rooftops and they all look 100% like that.
Exactly.
Like, people see that and don't really, like, I don't blame them, but the people see that and they don't realize people are living, like, they live like that. They just see that, like, oh, you know, the action started running across the roofs of Rio and it's cool.
You know why, though?
All that, but they don't look at it.
Because it looks badass in the movie.
You're right, but you know.
It looks badass in the movie.
Especially, I don't think a lot of people are just like, oh, well, it's just like a movie set or it's staged to do that. It's like, no, like those are probably like real places that they're just running across from roof to roof because, you know, their roads and their alleys and everywhere they walk is only a 5-foot walkway and you can literally jump from roof to roof and run. But
where did they film that, actually? I think I'm good off this, brother.
Oh, shit.
Holy shit, bro. You gave me a shot. I got 2 beers. I freaking smoked a joint. What else you want from me, man?
You're gonna
What was happening?
Oh, we're talking about how like
Still just the craziness of
people can live like that, but then like people don't realize they live. Because I was telling him like in Fast and Furious, there's like a scene where they are in Rio.
the Fast and the Furious.
I know. I
Fast and
told Kaz,
Furious,
it's gonna
dude.
sound stupid, but like they're like running across the roofs, and people don't realize that, like who are watching the movie, they don't realize that people like are living where they're like filming that, and they don't like sit there and take a second like, wow, like my little studio apartment is definitely that has running water and heat and all that stuff. It's just like they don't have that.
Yeah, no.
It's all about perspective.
But there's some people who
Yeah.
are just like, that's not a justification because all people should have that.
We're in there,
Which
stayed
I
in that
can get
studio
by-
apartment for a good hot minute, and it was fine.
Yeah, you guys did down on
Down in
In
Old Town. Old Town, yeah, man. That was fine. Holy shit. I can't even imagine doing this.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to live in a studio, but I mean, I would definitely live in a studio my whole life over that.
Absolutely, for sure.
I
man.
complain about my apartment building that I live in, and and it's only 4 of them,
See, the
and I
problem-
would much rather live there than that.
Like, I've seen that movie, right? And I've seen them, like, the shit that they're going through. And, like, I think it just puts a blind over it whenever we're seeing something like an action movie going on.
Right, so you're not thinking about like the people are living in the places that they're running
Yeah,
over. It's
no,
you're thinking about the
exactly.
movie and how awesome it is and
Yeah.
or how stupid it is, whatever.
Yeah.
And so like I get people not seeing that, but it's like you look at it, from this point of view, perspective, and it's just like it's nuts that people actually live that way, like their whole lives.
First world problems, bro.
Yeah.
First world problems.
That's why some people are just like, we don't really have a lot to complain about here, which I could somewhat get behind because
It's true, but they're not.
We definitely have problems.
Yeah,
no,
we
we have
have-
problems
definitely
for
have
sure.
problems.
We have
But we don't
problems.
have those problems.
No.
Not those.
Slums, like stuff like that is a different level of problem.
Yeah, but if you're trying to get out of whatever bullshit you're trying to get out of, then do it 100%. Put in the work, man. I just don't know how that would look like translated to this. How would someone like them be able to get out? You know? What would they have to go through?
I don't know if you get out of that. Or that's just like a life sentence,
You guys think that would be a life sentence?
I don't know how you get out of a slum.
I was gonna say I don't know a lot of people that are gonna be able to get out of that because I feel like a lot of people who live there probably don't have a job. And I don't know anything about their infrastructure, how they run, but like I couldn't imagine someone going to work every day, but then still only living in that, like paying rent for that. I don't know how that works.
I don't even
Yeah.
know if they pay rent or
I was
think
gonna
they
say, I
just
don't
build
know.
These
I was gonna say I don't know how
makeshift
their
houses.
infrastructure
I
works.
don't know.
I don't know if it's literally just like random people sleep wherever they want, or if it's like you pay one like lump sum of money and have your own little part of the slums, or I don't know.
Like some of those look like they could have been houses, and some look like they were just.
Just put
I mean,
there.
look at how many tarps are like over just the roofs. Like that's
Yeah.
just like their roof is literally pieces of sheet metal with tarps over it and bricks.
I don't know, man. Life is crazy, and everybody has their own path to walk.
Sometimes, like honestly, if I am feeling like I'm not doing well enough, or I'm not doing like I feel like I'm not doing okay, I literally like there's so many people who have it so much worse than I do right now. It's just like I still have a truck. I
True.
still come home to a roof over my head. I have
True.
shoes under my feet. I have a woman to go sleep to at night. Like it's just like
Facts.
that's that's really all you really need.
Why
And
do you
that's
think-
more than you need really for a lot of people. Like that would be
But-
above and beyond what they could ever dream to have.
That's a good life,
And
man.
but for so many people in America, like that's literally nothing.
It's a
Why
good
do you think
life.
people fail to recognize that or appreciate that?
What was that?
Why do you think people fail to recognize that? Because we don't look at that. Most people, when they're feeling down, it's kind of like the victim card. Like, oh, the world is coming down around me.
I feel like people paint their life as a movie. Like the world revolves around me.
They're the
Right.
star.
They're the star. They're the star. So things need that naturally happen.
Well, I mean, there's
get
plenty
things
of people who look at it where it's just like it's their world and everyone else is just living in it. And
Yeah.
because like my world is me doing me every day when I wake up and go do what I do.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's my rule. I should worry about that more than anything else.
Which is not a problem, though. Like, doing that and, like, just focusing on yourself. But then you have to realize, like, okay, like, if I don't keep up what I'm doing or strive to do more, things can get worse. You know, I mean, that's how I see it, at least. And you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Like trying to balance that.
Just trying to balance it a little bit, you know? I don't know. I mean, you gotta put, because if you're trying to get out of the slums, like I'm having a hard time putting my like a perspective on it. I'm trying super hard to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, you get to certain situations, like a lot of places around the world where it's like you can't even, like everything's just such a mess. You don't even know where to begin to start to try and better yourself, to try and better your situation. Like everything is just so bad, you don't know where's like the best place to start. And like there's a lot of places here and other places in the world where it's just like they have spots where you can get help to get you started in the right direction, but that's definitely not one of the places where you're gonna get help and handouts. I mean, that's so
I'm going through a pandemic
still,
you know, so like
I'm ready for it to be done.
I'm ready for
I've been ready for it to be done.
I think too. Do you guys think you're gonna stay in California?
I don't want to. I don't want
probably
to.
I mean, I don't. Maria wants to stay in California.
In Eureka?
No, not in Eureka, but like somewhere close to like her family. And I don't blame her, but like it's like I do want to move away at some point, and I think she does too. Matter of fact, of where I just don't know, because anywhere will be cheaper than California. And like the fact that like regular gas is like $4.99 is crazy.
I couldn't imagine trying to buy a house, like especially here, right? Like here at Eureka right now. No, I mean there's houses that would be, you know, worth $250,000 up to $300,000, but they're asking and they're getting $450,000 to $500,000 for them.
The market is so crazy,
and it's
right
like,
now.
how the hell am I ever gonna like buy? How am I gonna be able to stay in California and afford that? I can't.
It's pricing out the locals for sure.
Yeah,
man.
So it's just like we're forced out.
It's insanely hard for someone with my income to get a house. It's gonna take a lot of commitment, you know.
Are you and Maria looking for something?
We are looking for something, but we're not able to look for something yet. So like we keep a fair idea. We're like, okay, we'll be here, and like we'll judge on location wise, but on exact places, no.
That's kind of where I'm at. Like Sabrina will just kind of go and just like I was on Zillow just yesterday, just looking at prices in Arcata, Eureka, and McKinneyville. It's like, you know, somewhere that I can still drive to work and everything. And it was just like for a mobile home in a mobile park. I mean, looked decent. It was $100,000 for a trailer. It was a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom mobile home.
And then you're still paying rent
in a park, and it was $100,000. And I'm like,
wow,
high, literally high.
Wow, so that's crazy, man. I don't know where else it can go. Hopefully one day we do move. I don't know, to like the Midwest or like the middle of the country somewhere, like, you know, somewhere.
Like back to Kansas.
Not back to Kansas. I don't know about Kansas, but or even international. I would love to live somewhere else and get just surrounded by some different culture. You know, I would love that. Get Massey engulfed in like different culture and stuff like that. Because, you know, I don't want to stay here all the time, especially in Humboldt. I mean, you traveled from like a whole bunch of different locations and stuff like that, and then you traveled to like.
I mean, this year I went to like 6 or 7 different states. So I mean, like you're still in the United States, but like it's for me it was just
completely different.
Yeah,
completely different.
Like going to all those places when you want to leave, right?
I want to leave California.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like exactly.
Well, the problem is like I want to leave California because there's lots of like rules and laws I don't really like, and then it's also like I just I'm not gonna try and I don't want to put me and my family through having to spend $500,000 on a house that's not worth $500,000.
Yeah.
And so it's just like to go somewhere else and live like live decently. It's hard to do that in California now.
You look at the difference between like what this like $400,000 can get you from here to like $400,000 can get you like somewhere else. It's insane, dude.
It's crazy, but then like you got to remember like their minimum wage over there is probably going to be like $4 or $5 less than it is here. Their jobs don't pay as much over there. Their property tax could be way more over there. Like it's stuff like that I don't know if it's just that bad in California or if it's just it kind of everywhere else has their own little issues and just kind of all evens out.
Yeah.
Because like if I made the same wage I did here somewhere else, it's like I could probably be pretty well off somewhere else, but I don't know if I did the same job in another state if I get paid as much. So I think that's where it might all just balance out.
I just want to have like some, I don't know, like some passive income coming in, dude.
I think we're all at the age where that has really become important.
Yeah, like just
I
some
think that's
passive
finally hit our
income
generation.
coming into my bank account every time, and like just figuring out what that would be. It's like so difficult right now, because I don't want to like always work for someone, like
Doesn't sound
have
ideal.
like a boss like for my entire life and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people who, like you ask an Uber driver, what's the best thing about like your job? And they're like, oh, I get to work for myself. I work when I want.
Exactly.
But it's, I'm sure there's people who do live off of Uber, but a lot of the Ubers we ask are like, this is just side money. This isn't my only job.
Like with a certain amount of like passive income comes like a different quality of life.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely don't want to live paycheck to paycheck my entire life.
Exactly.
I'm not saying I want to have a mansion in like a 6-bedroom house with 1,000 acres or something.
I'd be cool with that.
I would rather.
It would be nice, but like I'm not. That's not necessarily the goal. Right now, my goal is just to have like
be good.
Yeah, it's just to be okay, not live paycheck to paycheck, and then be able to because like you don't need. Like someone doesn't need a boat or like a side by side or something, but someone to like to do something to have like your car, the wife's car, and like all this other, like maybe a boat or a side by side, something like that for fun, would be really nice. Like you don't need that stuff, but to be in a position to where I could have something like that would be really nice.
I just want to be at a point where my stresses are for like stressful things and not money.
I think they said that's like 75 or 80 grand. That up until that point, the money is making you happier, and then after that point, it doesn't make a difference. I think it's like 75 or 80 grand.
Well, if you make that a year.
Yeah, if you get up to that point, like money is no longer
like an issue.
And so making more of it doesn't make you happier or affect your happiness.
Yeah,
but up until that point, it does.
Yeah, because
like 75 grand.
Yeah, because after like that much, I mean, you're pretty much buying anything you want anyway.
You're set.
So it doesn't really matter.
See, I would love to be at that point.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice.
I would absolutely love to be at that point.
I think like 40 grand, you're in the top 1% of the world.
40 grand.
I think it's 40 grand. Because you got to think those, like it factors in those slums, third world countries, and in America, I guarantee it's 6 figures probably.
Oh yeah, for sure, dude. I wouldn't even.
Yeah. But I think it's like 40 grand.
I would not be surprised if it was.
I mean, you make you make 100 grand a year in California, even with California being as expensive as to live here. You're really not doing that bad. Even still. But like if you take 100 grand, you go to like Ohio or Pennsylvania or something like that, you're sitting real pretty.
Anywhere down south.
Oh, you're sitting
mansion.
You're sitting real pretty at 100 grand a year.
So I would love my passive income to be 70 grand, dude. At least that'd be nice.
You said you've got some coins or something, right? Didn't you delve into that?
Yeah, but that's not like not anything quick or anything like that. Like
some of those blew up, dude.
Some of those did blow up.
Some of those like Dogecoin, or Bitcoin. If you got in at ground level,
my cousin just like messaged me on Instagram, and then she put like $500 in Bitcoin, and now she's sitting at like 10 grand. like 10 grand right
That
now.
is so
I don't know
crazy.
how, because I know it wasn't like in the beginning of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin back then was like, I don't know, like I think it was like $100 per share.
If that. It
If
started
that.
out so cheap.
Yeah, if that. But the fact that she put in $500 and walked out with like 10 grand right now is amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't even think she's gonna pull it out. I think she's gonna keep on like.
Oh, I would
riding
keep it in there for
yeah,
sure.
dude, for sure, 100%.
That's the problem with like, because I feel like a really good way, like if you had, like, let's just say you, or even in California, you made 100 grand a year.
Yeah.
If you want to continuously to have money, like you got to invest it somehow.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
Like you got to invest some of it somewhere somehow, and obviously do it wisely. Which I mean,
a savings account. I mean, it's good to save money, but it's not. It's not gonna do anything for your money.
Back in January 1st of 2013, Bitcoin was $13.28. $13.28.
In 2013.
January 1st, 2013. Now it's $54,132.89.
For one share.
Like
for one Bitcoin.
Oh, one Bitcoin.
Billionaires made by like
for $26 you could have $100,000.
Yo, the freaking internet, dude. How many times am I gonna come back to the internet in this freaking podcast, man?
Some people just honestly just put in the hard work and they get to where, like Jeff Bezos. That dude started Amazon in his garage.
Yeah, he did. For like what, books?
Now he's a billionaire. Like, good for him.
He kind of seems like, have you seen those memes where he's like the evil billionaire though? And he's like, did you see him with his cowboy hat on?
No.
And the watch
No.
in his spacesuit?
I did not.
That guy.
He has enough money to not give a shit.
Yeah.
For lifetimes.
Oh yeah.
For his lifetime, for his kids, his
he's
grandkids.
good. He's not stressing about money.
Dude, no, his family, and even after like him and his wife got divorced, and she took like so much money, like he's just like whatever.
How much money can one person like
a lot
have, man?
A lot.
Like, well, there's been people who have gotten like really pissed. There's plenty of people out there who are like billionaires shouldn't be a thing. No one on earth should be a billionaire. And I'm like, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But if I'm Jeff Bezos and I started that shit in my garage, and you're gonna tell me that I can't have this amount of wealth because of the hard work I put in, we're gonna have some words exchanged.
I'd probably try to make even more money at that point.
Right? Oh yeah.
Yeah. At that
I don't think you stop
when
you hit 100 billion. You're like, I think we could push it to 2.
Yeah. I need to go take a piss.
No, him and Elon Musk are both like pretty close to hitting like.
Where'd I go?
Do you want me to go? I can open up the bathroom across the street. I just went in front of that car.
He's like,
do you want me to open the bathroom?
No, you're good.
All right.
Good. I think Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos are like really close to hitting trillionaires. Like if they're still on track, they're both like, I forget how many years, but like 10 years or something like that. Maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit less. Supposed to be like trillionaires. It's like I get it. Like no one needs that amount of money ever. But again, if I'm Jeff Bezos and I started that shit, no one else is gonna tell me how much money I can make off of the business I started.
It's a good point, right? People get weird about that.
And it's like, if you're that upset about it, stop buying stuff off Amazon. Stop. You don't need to. Like, it makes it easy for sure, and there's lots of benefits for buying stuff on Amazon, but don't complain about someone being a billionaire
and you're contributing
and you're helping them be a billionaire. Like, I don't understand that. And I'm like, if you don't, get off eBay. There's plenty of shit on eBay that you could find on Amazon.
I think people just like complaining at some point.
Yeah.
Like it just becomes easier to do that than to say, okay, what am I doing? How do I get there? How do I make a difference in my life,
Yeah. I feel like
kids are soft today, man.
Yeah. There was a guy that I talked to. He was saying that he got thrown into coaching his daughter's little league or t-ball or coach pitch, whatever. And he was like the other team, when they got out, they just let him take the bases and do all that. But he was like, when my kids got out, we told him to go sit on the bench. And he's just like, that's fine if the other team wants to do what they're going to do. But like, it's important. It was important to him to teach the kids, like, you don't always win. You don't always get what you want. You have to earn it. If you don't like sitting on the bench, you got to be better. And I'm like, no, I think that's awesome. I think there's way too many people that, just they don't want to hurt the kids' feelings, or they don't want to see them sad or whatever. So just like let them go run the bases and be happy. It's just like that's not how life works, okay? And like
that's the problem.
Obviously, I'm not a parent, so I can't I can't say can't say that. Maybe I don't understand. But it's just like, from my perspective, that's how it should be. Because even when we were kids, like I never got like our participation trophy. But like you got the trophy when you won the championship, when you won a division or whatever it was, like that's when you get to celebrate and but you don't just get a trophy just for trying.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, what did I miss?
We're talking about
kids
participation. Yeah, kids are soft.
Kids are soft.
Kids are soft.
Not even kids, like people our age are soft.
Yeah.
People and
people our age, even people slightly above us.
Oh yeah, there's
a bit too.
Yeah.
Like there's so many times where like I've like on like just for me, if like it's like an older person or at least probably 20 years older than me, I'm just like, yeah, I'm sorry. A lot of the people in my generation are the way they are. I'm sorry. Like, it sucks. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
Try growing up with it.
I don't like it any more than you do, and I'm sorry for the way we do things sometimes. Like, my dad has like told me like your generation is just like it's gonna be like the death of like the world, and like you guys are so wasteful and just throw things away and this and that.
Oh wow.
And I'm just like,
thank you.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
I'm just like, yeah, I see your point, but at the same time, it's just like there's plenty of shit you guys did when you guys were our age that wasn't really okay. But I mean, it was acceptable back then. It's not now. And
I think it's different with us because we got the internet, dude. We got the internet, brother.
Well, we should just label this podcast the internet.
The internet, right here.
It does have an effect.
It does.
It does.
It does, man. God, this ties into so much.
Are you worried about that as someone who now has a kid and like
I am?
They're eventually going to get a phone,
because we saw it when it was like brand new, like in the newer stages to now. Now, if I feel like it's pretty advanced, like like the new consoles, video game wise, when it comes to like internet wise, or just basic tech wise. And now that he's gonna grow up and then he's gonna be 20, what's that gonna look like? And as fast as it already grew, it's gonna be insane.
Well, and the fact you think about, you think now, he's only 1. You think 20, oh, that's not gonna be that far away. It'll be
blink of
like
an
that.
eye.
Because I mean,
like that.
Like you think about it, like when we were kids, it took so long. And, to other people listening or like watching, they could be like, "You guys still are kids," which I could see that. But,
I feel like an old man.
But I mean, at the same, but like legit when we were kids, it was like it seemed like adulthood couldn't get here fast enough. Now it's just like, God damn it! Like I should have not been so worried about growing up because now it's here, and it's like a lot of it is great.
It's here.
Yeah, take that back. I feel like a child. I feel like a child watching other children and being like, "What the fuck is happening right now?"
What's going on?
A slightly more aware child, but I definitely don't feel like.
I don't feel like a child in the sense where I need to rely on anyone.
I feel that. Like there's times where like I feel like I don't know, it's hard to explain, but there's definitely been plenty of times where someone like calls me like a child or like you're still a kid. And if it's like, someone who's like, I would say at this point, even like in their 40s, like I'll give you that because when you were my age when like I was just being born or not born yet, I'll give you that, okay? But like when you're only like 10 years older than me, you're not gonna call me a kid. That's not gonna go over too well because I'm a grown ass man. I go to fucking work, I pay my bills, I do my shit. Like
I call people my age kids. I'm like, oh, you're just a kid, and I'm like, that's
you're a child. Oh, dude, I'm your age. Oh wow. I don't know, man. I feel like it's okay though to rely on people.
I think that's the only way you really get through life.
Yeah, if you rely on like the people that care about you and want to do things for you and like to benefit your life,
Or even people
That's
that
it.
just care about you.
Exactly, or just things that just.
But
care
at the end
about
of the
you.
day, just give a fuck about you.
Yeah.
You're like, I would, if you needed me, I'd be there.
If you actually let that happen, who knows? Because I feel like pride can kill a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
Like a lot of things. Too many things. For stupid reasons. America. You know what I'm saying,
man.
dude? Oh my
I
God.
don't know.
Fuck America, dude. Fuck America. What about us? What about us, man? You're about to get married, brother.
Mhm.
We're getting old.
We're
Like
getting
we're still
old,
babies,
man.
but we're getting old.
Like we're
Like
still young.
you're married. You've got a kid.
I'm married,
You're
got a
gonna be
kid.
married.
Gonna be married. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
We are,
But fuck that,
dude.
dude.
Life.
Dude.
It just happens to you, whether you're ready for it or not. It just comes.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much high school doesn't prep you for life. Doesn't teach you life.
It's crazy to think that like
Teaches
we're
you how
not
to be a worker.
like we're closer to 10 years out of high school than we are 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy to
Damn,
think about.
that really
too.
just fucked me
That
up.
hits. That hits.
Like Jake earlier was just talking about like
Damn.
sophomore year, and I'm like, that was like 10 years ago, dude.
That's crazy. And people will tell you this bullshit, but you don't really know until you go through it.
Yeah, you don't appreciate it when you're in high school and people are like, "Oh, you should enjoy it because it's gonna fly by." You're like, all right, fuck you. Like,
That
what?
saying everyone has heard at least 3 times in their life during high
You don't
school.
get it when you're younger.
Exactly. You don't get it when you're younger. Because
I think that makes it better though, because think about some of the shit that we did. Like, if we had known better, would have been a lot more boring.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like it would have been a lot more boring for sure.
I think that's why they say, what is that quote? It's, what is that quote? It's like youth is wasted on the young, but that doesn't make sense. Something like that.
I don't know.
I feel like it's because the youth doesn't take full advantage of being youthful, dude. Because at that point, you have no responsibilities. You have no consequence except for, like, I don't know, like social consequence, I guess. And, like, what goes on at the house. But that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think you had a bad day because you didn't get the fruit snacks you wanted, but the
Yeah. But then mom's worried about getting her job taken from someone else.
Yeah.
And then not providing enough food on the table. Like, those problems, if I had the knowledge that I do now and went back in time to my younger self, there's so many things I would have done differently.
Do you think you got, like, that really hit home when you had a kid?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Because as soon as, like, Massey was into this world, right? Everything changed. And it wasn't like, it just felt like everything changed. Nothing physical happened to me, but I just changed. And that's like, I don't know. That's just some weird shit that happens whenever you become a parent. And like, life becomes more about like, okay, what can I do to make sure that his quality of life was better than mine? In that sort of sense. And that's scary, bro. That's scary. What are you about to say?
I feel like it's sad because like there's plenty of like parents out there who aren't like that.
Oh,
They're just like,
yeah.
oh, I grew up just fine, and I grew up, with what I needed to, and I
Yeah.
turned out okay. And it's just like, well, you should definitely want your kid to be better. Like I tell people,
Yeah.
people that I'm close to, they're younger, and I'm like, you see, like you love your mom and dad, they love you. But it's just like the situation they have right now is not the best. You should want to look at them and say, I want better for myself, and you need to start it right now.
Exactly.
You need to start bettering yourself right now.
I want my son to strive to be able to do more.
Like I saw my mom like be the sole income for my whole childhood
Yeah.
and supporting me, my brother, and my dad. And I'm like, I will have like I grew up, fine.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, I had food, hot water, roof over my head, whatever. But it's just like for a long time, I knew I was just like, I'm going to have more. I'm going to give my family more than what I did.
Exactly.
And already I make more than my mom does. And she was raising 2 boys and had my dad to take care of too. So it's just like, I'm gonna make sure that I do better. Not that she did a bad job. Cannot give my mom enough credit. But I'm gonna make sure that my life is better than the one she was able to give me.
And that's a damn good strive to have. A damn good strive to have. And that's why I want to give to my son. I hope he has that. I hope he has. But like, how do you teach that? You know, I don't think it's something you teach. It's like,
I think a lot of it is just got to be like observation.
Exactly.
Like me, it's just like watching my mom do what she did.
Exactly.
Was like now, like looking back on it now, incredible. Because like sometimes, just me and Sabrina, it's just like making what I do. It's just like I blow my money on stupid ass shit, and it blows my mind that my mom was able to make less but provide for 4 people and make ends meet the way she did. Blows my mind. And it was literally just...
We get so worried about our income, man. We get so worried about it. I don't know. I feel like there's just more things to stress about. Because money will always come and go. 100%. Money is always going to come and go. But like what truly matters, that's the shit that's like irreplaceable, you know? Like actual bonds.
Yeah.
Like bonds are like actual experiences. You can never buy experiences. I can't give you $5 and be like, hey, give me an experience or anything like that, unless you're a prostitute. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're a fucking prostitute.
Be an experience.
That's
you would get an experience.
There you go. That's a bad experience.
I don't know if you did.
You will catch something like
you would get an experience. You might have an experience to take home with you too. That could be the problem.
Yeah, exactly. But you can't throw money at something and tell me like give me that memory. You know, like I can't. Whenever Master was born and all that, and I saw him grow. I'm seeing him grow. I'm seeing him change. I'm seeing him develop as a human being, which is so freaking weird. Because when they're a baby, they're like a pet. Like no bullshit. Like it's so weird. That's such a fucked up. Like
they're like
comparison.
A small dog.
It's like but it's
not
like
quite as smart.
Because they don't really do anything but like eat, shit, and sleep. That's all they do for like the first 3-4 weeks. And then they start to crawl and all that after like a couple months, and then things progress after that. But for the first bit, it's like a pet.
I don't know if I've ever heard anybody compare their small child to a pet.
I feel like I've never heard a more honest answer though.
True,
I feel like that's
true.
I feel like
this is like what everybody wishes they could say.
Like, I was gonna say how many people
is the only one that's done
how many people think that, but then they're like, I'm gonna get grilled for saying this, and
they
just like
they do.
So
nothing.
I believe him. I do believe him.
They do nothing. And then when I see him progress as a human, I'm like, oh shit, this is actually. Oh man, he has thoughts now. He's coming because he wants to do something. He wants to experience a little something.
Mm-hmm. Even if it's just, I feel like even if it's just like the simplest thing of like him like reaching for food that you're eating or food that you're feeding him, it's just like he knows like I want that. He's having a thought. I want that.
It's like when you realize that's happening, you think of the best possible situation, and then you think about the worst possible situation of where he can go in his life. You know, it's like, oh wow, he can be a saint. He can conquer the world. He can accomplish all his dreams. Or he could be a mass murderer. How am I gonna raise him not to go that direction?
That's crazy. I've never actually. I feel like that's such like an honest answer coming from a parent. I've never actually heard a parent like even acknowledge the fact that their kid's gonna be bad.
You could be the one that raises.
That's a fear. That's a legit fear.
Yes, and I don't think I've ever heard a parent like ever say that. Like that's awesome. Like not awesome, but like
actually thought about that.
No, it's not awesome, but like
it's honest.
Like it's so like awesomely honest, like how like you say that, because I feel like there's so many parents who just it doesn't even cross their mind. They're like, oh, my kid's never gonna be like that, never gonna do that. It's like, well, you don't want to think about that, but maybe you got to think of like what you can do to prevent that kind of thing.
It was so weird because when he's like a baby, right? He's just sitting there. You just have these the super dark thoughts that just like instantly put in your mind. You're like, maybe he's not breathing because he looks really still right now. Maybe he's not breathing, so I'm gonna put my hand in front of his face to see if I can feel any warm air. And I can't tell you how many times Maria and I have both done that. Like, it's such a no one tells you this. Not in school, not your parents, not, at least not my parents. They never told me the exact emotions that you go through whenever your kids only just came into like the world. No one's ever expressed this to me.
I don't know if anyone really can though. I
I
feel
think
like
it's one of those things you
I
have to
feel like
feel.
I feel like it's one of those things like you aren't gonna. You can imagine, you can try,
Yeah.
but I don't think you're actually gonna know until it gets there. Like I don't like I can try to imagine how like what you're expressing right now, but I don't think I'll ever like actually know it until like
Yeah.
I have a kid.
Gotta tell you though. I gotta fucking tell you though. It's like the best thing I've ever done in my life. I gotta fucking tell you. It's the best thing that I have ever done in my life. Nothing will top it. I don't care. No bullshit. Best thing. I'm guaranteeing you that just thinking about it. Some bullshit. Yeah, you know what I'm saying though? Like, I never thought I would feel like this a year later, you know? I was scared, but happy. But now I'm on cloud 9. But I'm still scared.
I don't know if that ever goes away.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like it
I don't know
probably
if it ever
don't. I feel
does.
like you're like Massey could be like 45 years old and like have a couple of kids and like he's worrying about them, but like you're still worrying about him.
Yeah.
And then you're worrying about like his kids.
Dude,
and
you
shit.
made a person.
Well, I made a person.
You
dude.
made a person.
That's what I'm saying. You think it's a pet. You think it's a pet until like you start realizing this thing has a conscience. This thing is my son. Oh shit, I'm a dad. Oh shit, I gotta worry about all these other things now. It's like you just think about all these problems left and right, left and right. Teenage girls, you know, I don't want no bitches around. Teenage girls, don't want that. All right, you know, 16 and pregnant, not allowed. I will beat your ass so quick. Not allowed. But live your life.
Yeah.
You know? Live
Just
your
don't do
fucking
that.
life. Just don't do
Live
that.
your life below that level.
I feel like I have pretty reasonable requests.
That's
that
not bad.
Any parent would have.
It's not super
Yeah.
strict.
You know? I mean, I can't be I've always wanted to be a parent, though. I've always wanted to be a parent. And I feel like I can't be the only one. I feel like a lot of people always wanted to be a parent. You know? That's some bullshit.
Sabrina has that. She's like, I just want to be a mom. I'm like, pump the brakes. Okay,
Pump the brakes. Relax. No.
We'll get there, but pump the brakes.
When's the plan?
Oh, I don't know. I'm honestly this past year going places and, you know, just having like her and me time. I mean, I
Yeah.
can only imagine like the time that you know the three of you guys have had this year has been like phenomenal on cloud 9. You're
Been good.
explaining.
Yeah, it's been
I mean,
great.
but it's just like I want to wait for that a little bit longer because I'm really enjoying the time that her and I have. Just me and her, not having to worry about a little one, not having to worry about anyone else but me and her doing what we want to do. And I'm really enjoying that right now.
That's a good way to go about it, too. That's definitely a good way to go about it.
Because I feel like, you know, not saying that, like, you know, you and Maria and little Massey can't do all that stuff that me and her did this year. But, I mean, it's just going to be more difficult for you guys because you have an extra one to look out for.
It would be more difficult, yeah.
It's not impossible by any
No.
means, but I mean it's more difficult, and that's just something that I'm just enjoying the easiness of the setup that her and I have right now.
I think if you travel, because if we'd be traveling towards like places. At least the first initial big flight would be towards the islands, and that's like surrounded by my family. So we'd have a lot of people, because I've noticed that when we're in gatherings of people that like care about us in whatever degree and know that we have a son and want to they want to take care of him as well. Like so he'll have a lot of caretakers, but it's going to be difficult, as like you said, because nothing.
All right, well that's where we're going somewhere like, you know, you have people like all the places we've gone to, her and I never been before at all.
Yeah.
And so it was just her and I to take care of each other. Like we walked 11 miles in New York City. I couldn't imagine walking 11 miles with a baby in a
No, that's
stroller
not a thing.
Or going to Vegas
exactly,
with a baby.
Yeah, I'm just like,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't.
not a thing.
There's stuff like that
You
where I'm
don't-
like,
Maybe gonna
that's
get
what I mean.
cold.
That's what I mean by like it's really nice not having to worry about the extra person however old they are, not having to worry about it because they're not there.
There's times I miss that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is times I miss that. I'm like, there's times that like you miss it to the point where you're like, maybe did I take full advantage up before this? But then there's times you correct yourself, you're like, no, this is great.
I think there's perks to both, like perks of having a kid young, because then you're like, I feel like you have more energy to take care of them when you're younger.
Yeah.
And then also when they're 18 and they're no longer legally your problem,
Mm-hmm.
you're still young enough to go do whatever the hell you want to do. Versus if you have kids younger or later in life, it's like you're gonna be more tired taking care of them, and you're gonna like you can
100%.
like hopefully live it up, before you have kids. But then, because to me, it's not that like your social life and everything just kind of stops when you have a kid. It just becomes a little bit more difficult to do certain things.
Yeah.
And so, I want to do a lot of things before that happens.
I don't know. It's weird though, raising a kid in a pandemic.
I bet.
Yeah.
That's one thing, like the whole pandemic. I'm really happy that like I'm not a child during the pandemic, having to go to
True.
school and
With a
Zoom and all that
mask,
shit.
all that
And I'm
bullshit.
not a parent having to deal with all that shit. No, thank you.
Exactly.
They're not vaccinating kids that young.
No,
Right,
at least
okay.
not massy young.
Yeah.
I know they want to.
It's what, like 5 and up?
I believe
think
so.
right now.
I believe
Something
so.
like that.
Okay.
I could be wrong though. I'm not 100%, so don't quote me on that. It's just that I'm not gonna vaccinate Massey. Like, I'm not gonna do that just yet because it's a super new vaccine, right? Like I'm not gonna give it to a baby. But he already kind of gets the vaccine anyways because he's breastfed. And she's fully
I don't know
vaccinated.
anything about that.
Well,
After that.
since she's fully vaccinated, that Massey can get some of the vaccine through her breast milk.
Okay.
So he gets somewhat vaccinated, at least enough for like a baby to be fine, So I'm not like entirely too worried because we don't go outside. We don't really go anywhere. When we do go to like parks and like public, I'm very aware of who's around my son. I don't let anyone touch my son. Same way with Maria, she doesn't let anyone touch our kid,
Right.
and then stuff like that. And then when he does go play, we make sure he's playing with us. He's not around kids yet. But because one thing, we don't know how he's gonna be with around kids, and two, I don't know when's the proper time to introduce that.
Yeah, especially now with everything.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be freaking out.
That's that's again one thing I've said since day one is I'm glad I'm not a child having to go through it. I'm glad I'm not a parent having to go through it.
Yeah.
Like no, like just like having to go like with school and Zoom, having to have someone watch your kid and everything. Like
No thanks.
it's just, I
Yeah.
mean, that's tough. I mean, because like honestly, if you and Maria were both at work, like who would be the one like to watch Massey? Like if he was if he was a little bit older in school and had Zoom, and say he was in like the 3rd grade,
Yeah.
he's definitely too young to stay home by himself.
Facts.
But like if you and
It's a
Maria were
baby.
both at work, who the fuck's gonna watch Massey for you guys while he's on Zoom?
See, that's the thing. I don't want no one raising my son because the school's already gonna do that at some point. I want to have that time with my kid, because then it gets to the point where because we've all gone through it. We go to school more often than we're at home. We're at school. I see my teachers and my classmates more often than I see my actual parents and stuff. And it gets to that point. It gets to that point where the school's raising your kid. And not the school.
That's fair.
That's a
I
school,
can
but
see
the kids around your kid is raising your kid.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of things that like kids learn and absorb from other kids
Yeah,
at
exactly.
school that they never would have even thought of or anything like that. And if they were just at home.
Exactly. There's things that kids need to learn about with around other kids, but then you're only part-time. He's only learning through things from you part-time.
Right.
So I just want to enjoy that time that I have when he's full-time with
learning
us.
learning from you guys.
Exactly. Learning from us. We have him until he has to go to school. And then at that part, it feels like part-time parenting at that. I don't know if anyone's ever voiced that, but that's how
I don't know if
view
I've
it.
ever heard that.
I haven't either.
I mean, it checks out. It makes sense.
I mean, like, yeah, the way you're painting the picture, it definitely makes sense for sure.
Because you see your kid, like let's say you do your average 9 to 5 job, your kid gets off at 3, right? You don't see your kid around because they usually go to school like what? Like before 8? because school starts around like 8:15.
Yeah, give or take there.
Give
so
or
you
take.
gotta-
So you drop them off before that. So you sit them for like a split seconds, brushing their teeth, giving breakfast, and then you go to school. They go to school for about what until like 2-3 o'clock.
Probably, I think like in high school it was like what 3:15
Like,
or
I think
so,
3:15.
something like
3
that.
o'clock.
3:30.
So from the point you drop them off, and sometimes you drop them off at like exactly 7 because you can't stick around at home taking care of their business. You need to be at work.
Right.
So sometimes you drop them from 7 to 3, and you're not gonna be home until around 5.
Yeah, most people.
5 o'clock, and then from 5 o'clock they're gonna go to bed around like what, like 9. So you have 4 hours with your kids.
So you might get 4 hours, but 2 of those hours could be getting them ready, and when you get home,
Yeah, and
dinner
provide
and all that stuff.
getting dinner ready.
And honestly, that could be like pretty impressive for some people getting their kids ready in an hour. and out the
Exactly.
door.
And how often are they just hanging out with friends or
Exactly.
in their room by themselves?
So in realistic, I would say you average about 3 to 4 hours of actual time with your kid.
But I feel like there were so many times where, like, growing up, I had other friends that were, my mom, she was kind of the way you're explaining. Like, she wanted us home because she just wanted us to be around because she hadn't seen us in, all week because of school or this or that or whatever. And so she wanted us just to be home and spend time with her. But we wanted to go out and, like, hang out with our friends or whatever. But because my friends are, some of them, their parents didn't care. They're just like, yeah, whatever, if you're being safe, we don't, I don't need you around here. I don't need to worry about you if you're going to be fine. And so it's just like, my mom definitely seems more the way you
remember
are.
It'd
where
be
it's
hard
like,
to get you out some
like I
weekends.
wanted, she wanted us home just to spend time with us.
Yeah.
And shit. So like, I definitely.
It was hard to get out some weekends, and I don't blame her for doing all that. But what would you guys think about homeschooling?
That's hard too.
No,
That's hard.
dude.
That'd be hard
That's
too.
a different ballgame.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of things that like I don't have enough information on to really feel like I'm teaching my child the way they need to be. But then at the same time, there's plenty of shit in school that they get taught that you don't like what they're learning, or you don't think they need to be learning, or
teachers giving them,
yeah,
their own doctrine,
their own
just
agenda,
spreading
and
shit.
yeah.
But at some point, though, I feel like that's a good thing.
Are you thinking about doing that with Messi?
Maria's talked about it, and I'm on the fence. Like she likes the idea of it.
Of
right?
homeschool.
Of homeschooling. She doesn't necessarily want to like dive into homeschooling and all that. I'm necessarily not on board because I'm like, I feel like there's things that you can't learn
from home.
Well,
from home.
socializing. I mean,
I was gonna say, I feel like
other kids.
socializing.
I was gonna say, I feel like there was, plenty of times where there's people that I met that are, obviously our age, but like didn't know who they were, never heard of them, never saw their face ever, because they're like, oh, I was homeschooled. And like not all the time, but sometimes they can be like more quirky, more not up to spec, so to speak, on socialness.
Yeah.
Of like with everybody else. Like you could tell like they haven't been around kids enough to really, like, not saying they don't go to the park and play with kids, but like they're not interacting with kids for 8 hours a day at school.
That's like
Yeah.
I had a friend. His name is Joseph. Back in Kansas, and I met him in kindergarten, right? And then he became homeschooled for a good part of the time until I want to say freshman in high school, or even 8th grade middle school, and something like that. And so he was homeschooled from like 2nd grade all the way up to like freshman. We'll just say that he was freshman. When he was surrounded by us, because like there was friends that he knew from like kindergarten, and we all just stayed friends because we live super close.
Right.
So when you're with your friends, with your boys and all that, your personality and the way you do things is already a little weird, right? Yeah, like you're saying some far off bullshit. You're saying some jokes that like not
You're
many
influenced.
people exactly.
Yeah.
Your influence and stuff like that. And then, but what Joseph didn't get was that what we got. We went to like actual other places, and then not many people interacted that way. The cool thing is though, when he was in high school, he didn't give a shit about what any other person thought. Like he was his person, and he was his person. Like if that's how he is, that's how he is. If you don't like it, you can fuck off. Like
right, because he's just like, at the end of the day, I'm like comfortable and I know who I am.
I'm
It
comfortable in my skin.
it doesn't matter what you think of me.
Exactly. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what you think of me. Like I don't know you.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know if there's a right or wrong choice with that. I think they both have their trade-offs.
I feel like they both have their like the benefits for sure.
Because socially he was awkward, but like to himself he was himself. He didn't give a shit. And
He's like, yeah, whatever happens here is not gonna affect my sleep tonight.
right, exactly. I feel like that's what school will do to you though. Like at some point, you get more because in high school you think, well, being popular is like the best thing. I mean, that's what the average high schooler is, right? You want to be popular because if you're popular, you're liked. If you're liked, you get invited to parties, and if your parties do mean something.
Looking back on now, they don't mean shit.
It doesn't mean shit, dude. It doesn't mean shit. It didn't really even mean shit back then either. Like honestly, like who? If I had the knowledge, like I said before, if I had the knowledge and I went back in time, there's so many different things I would have done differently. So many different things. But you can't know that unless you go through it. Right? If I can't regret about it, I'm not learning about it.
The experience is important.
Right. If time travel is a thing, would you even want to change that though? There's gonna be people that wouldn't want to change that, but like,
I don't know if I'd change anything.
I wouldn't want to change it,
I've
dude.
had some hard fucking lessons, but I don't know if I'd go back and change it.
If I change one thing and that one thing would like made it where I never met you guys, I never met Bredo, I never met Maria, I never has Massey. I would do everything exactly the same if that meant like I can't have what I already obtained. If I can change things and still have what I got right now, then fuck yeah, I'm gonna change it. But I don't think that's a thing.
No, it's like the butterfly effect. The smallest little thing can just throw
you don't know what's gonna happen.
You don't know what's gonna happen.
Craziest thing off too. So
we're getting old. Because life is teaching us like, hey,
oh man,
I'm gonna shit on you. But what are you going to do after that?
What are you going to do after that?
Like, that's the main question. What are you going to do after that?
Get the fuck out of California.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think, I mean, that's what's weird about life is you don't really know what the effect of one fork that you take is going to be. Like, who knows what, like, if you homeschooled Massey, maybe he'd go off to be president, or maybe homeschooling him, he'd be a serial killer, or maybe sending him to public school, he'd be an astronaut. Like, you just don't know.
You don't know.
Like, there's a million different variables.
It's like the
just,
smallest details.
You just got to walk the tightrope.
The smallest
and hope that
details will push it, dude.
Yeah.
And then, like, just got to be careful. I don't know. I'm already trying to do things that, like, I didn't see growing up, and so is Maria. So we're just trying. We're consciously trying to be better than past generations.
I feel like that's a good thing that like me and Sabrina have is like her and I both want for our future family to be better than what we had growing up too. Like, that's what keeps us on the same page for a lot of everything that we do. Is like, we're on the right track together to make sure that we're going to be in a better spot than where we started.
And that's how it should be, man. I feel like everyone should have that mindset.
I think most people do. I think most people want better for their kids.
They do, but do they execute?
That's the thing, right?
That's the thing. Are you gonna put up with the bullshit and actually execute? And that's such a difficult thing. I feel like
because it's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard to do that.
I feel like because when we're kids, we're put in a situation where like people solve our problems for us, right? Because your mom and dad is gonna take care of you. You know, your older brother and all that bullshit is going to take care of you. They're going to have advice for you and solve your issues for you. And then you get thrown out in the open world, and it's just not the case. You have a problem, well, if you don't have mom and dad around, no one's gonna solve your problem for you. So are we built to handle our own shit, or are we built to collapse and then follow orders? And I feel like most of us are built to follow orders and stuff like that. I need to be told what to do to succeed. I can't just go out and be successful. I have to be told. I need to have someone put a blueprint in front of me and tell me A, B, and C. I'm
these
successful.
are the steps you need to take.
This is what you need to do to be successful.
I could see that. I feel like there's probably a lot of people in that same boat. I mean, I feel like there's times where people probably feel like they're doing okay on their own.
Yeah.
But then there's other times where they're like, yeah, it'd be nice if someone just told me what to do and I could just do it rather than...
Because it's 100%.
It's hard to figure shit out, especially like when you have a son to worry about and a wife to worry about. It's like, you got to figure out like what the future is, like the steps you got to take to get the future. But it's like, that's just part of life. It's going to be hard as shit. But
I don't know, man. I mean, if you look back throughout history, it was authoritarianism. Like, we had kings and dictators and people that just ran shit and everybody else just did what they had to underneath that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Doesn't have to be that way no more.
I don't know. China's still run that way.
I think it's hard. You can't... I don't know. Because I want to be at a point where I'm successful to the point where I'm financially free. And then my stresses be like, hey, how are we going to handle our bills? Right? My stresses would be like, hey, how can I continue to further develop myself? Those would be phenomenal stresses to have. And I feel like there's a certain level of income you need to have that stress-free life. At least in the States. In the States, you need at least that.
Yeah.
Because you can be happy and worry about your bills, right? But you can't be happy and worry about your bills to the full extent.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely stuff that like financially sometimes it's just like, well, it's a little tough right now, but like I know in the long run, like I'll be fine. It's like it's a little tough at this moment in time, but I mean, it's just like it'll be fine.
Yeah. You know what scares the fuck out of me?
What's up?
Relying on like Social Security and being like, I just got to make it to 65 and then I can retire and government's gonna take care of me.
Just not ideal life. Man.
Yeah.
I feel like for some people like this, it's really hard because a lot of people like, especially if you don't really have like a lot of hobbies, when you like turn 65 and retire, I feel like a lot of people do get like a part-time job just because first it's something to do. They don't really care what it is. Like I remember we went to.
My dad's the same way.
When we were in Ohio, there was like I think it was a TJ Maxx we walked into, and this guy probably was in his like 70s. He's just a greeter. I told Spring like that guy's retired, but he's just loving being at home right now. He's just the time of his life, just having something to do, having like he's feeling needed. He's feeling like he's doing something. Even the smallest little thing is like telling people like hello as they walk in the door. It's like he was happy.
I need that. With like $100,000.
Shit, sign me up for that job.
You know what I'm saying? Like I need
$100,000
that.
just to greet people.
You know, like
sign me up. I'm sure it's part of that, but I wonder how many people are actually able to like survive off of just Social Security. I don't know what that's paying, but I can't imagine it's.
I feel like it's not that much, and you would definitely need like so let's say you have a big house. I feel like you need downsides, 100%. You know.
I mean, I'm thinking like $1,500 a month.
I'm thinking less than that. I don't know. Like, who knows? I'll have to hit up my dad. And be like, hey, I feel like that's such a sensitive topic. Though.
Yeah.
Like that's such a like I don't. It's not my business to know. But honestly think it's just not that much. Like he's telling me he wants to buy another house and all that, but if I was his age, I don't think they'd be paying enough for a house. Because I don't know how it works. Does it based off how much you've worked, how much time you put in?
Buy a house?
No, for like Social Security, like how much they're
I think it's a time. It's a time thing, isn't it?
I think.
So if you work for this amount,
I think it's like
you get this amount.
Work until, because you can like withdraw Social Security early. You're just gonna get less per month if you do it early. Whereas if you wait till you're 65, you get like your full as much as you can. But then when you start drawing Social Security, you're not allowed to have a full-time job. It's like it goes into like you can have a part-time job. There's like a certain amount of money every year that you're not supposed to pass. So I think you get penalized. I don't think they take your Social Security away. I think you get penalized. That's why like a lot of retired people, instead of just getting a full-time job, they either get a full-time job that's under the table, so it's not caught by the government, or they just get a part-time job, and that's fine.
See, no.
Because once you retire, there's only like you're not like once you start getting Social Security, since it's coming from the government, like you're not allowed to. It sounds. I think it's stupid, but you're not allowed to like make as much as you want. Like if you want to just withdraw Social Security, but also continue to work full time, you can't do that.
No. That's fucking horse shit. I don't want that. Don't want that. The difficult part is finding out what to do to make what I want to happen. And I think that's the one thing about everyone, Because I feel like we all want to be financially free, but what can we do to be financially free?
Yeah, I don't know anybody that wants to be poor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's ways to like get a job and all that, save money, but like I feel like to be really financially free is like buying property.
I think property is the big one.
Property.
I think property is the big one. Property and investing.
Investing, exactly. Riding on trends, seeing what's going down, and then be financially free. I would love to own some property so I can rent out.
Yeah, I think it's really hard now because, like, especially now, like, I met a lady. She had it was a 1-bedroom house.
No.
Like, it didn't even have like a washer dryer in the whole house or anything. It was just 1 bedroom, 1 bath. It was a cute little place, but she was getting $1,200 a month, and she just redid her appliances. And she's like, I kind of want to get more every month just because like I put in the new appliances and everything. I want to get that money back. And I'm like, I 100% understand where she's coming from. Definitely.
Oh yeah.
But it's just like for a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom house to be paying $1,200 a month. No, I wouldn't have done that in the beginning. Like I will have a 3-bedroom house for $1,200 a fucking month. Like in 5 years ago, you could do that.
Oh yeah.
But now it's like, especially with COVID, you're not going to find that around here. So, but other places, that's still obtainable, just not here. So, I mean, 'cause I don't think that's unreasonable to have, I don't know, maybe maybe to $1,500 mortgage a month. I feel like even $1,500 a month is like, seems a lot for a mortgage. Like I feel like you'd have a pretty decent house, like, I guess 5 years ago, not now. But I feel like that would get you a decent amount.
I feel like it would just be nice to send money to something that's going to eventually be yours.
Right, because I feel like, you buy a house for $300,000 you might as well just say with depending taxes and all that, but it's like you're going to be spending $1,200 a month for a $300,000 house for 30 years. Now, obviously that's going to change on whether like how much you put down this or that. But I feel like, but ballpark, $1,200 a month is like a $300,000 house for 30 years. And I don't think that's unreasonable.
No.
I'd rather pay that than pay rent.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
man.
I'd rather pay my mortgage.
I mean, my rent, like, especially compared to other places now, it's relatively cheap I live in an apartment, but it's 2-bedroom and it's like new carpet, new paint, like all that. So it's relatively pretty nice for the price for sure.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if they really wanted to, they could ask, $300 to $400 more, then probably I would probably say comfortably $300 more a month than I'm paying now, and they could probably get it easy.
I've seen a couple thousand plus ones for 1-bedroom places here.
Mm-hmm. Like
goodness.
I thought that house for 1 bedroom, 1 bath was for $1,200 a month. Absurd. I was like, no, I wouldn't.
The
never.
problem is people pay it.
Oh yeah, and that's that's the crazy thing. It's like that's what makes me think it's other people that make more money do that. But then it's just like, what person from around here thinks that's a good idea?
That's the problem. That's why the locals are getting priced out. It's because everybody from SoCal and the Bay Area is coming up.
There's a house across the street from my brother's house that was for rent last month or 2 months ago. $1,900 a month for rent.
That's insane, dude.
That's crazy.
That's
I'm
insane.
like, and it's not a bad house. It's your average house that I feel like is a $300,000, $1,200 a month house.
Man.
That's what I think it is, but it's definitely not $1,900 a month in the neighborhood that it's in. No.
That's why eventually I would love to buy a house, like in the Midwest or something like that. Somewhere in the middle.
Midwest
of the
is still pretty cheap.
super cheap.
Well, the problem is like
cheap.
around here, it's nice because if you want to go to the city, it's 5 hours south. You want to go to the snow in the wintertime, 30 minutes that way. You want to go to the ocean, right there. You want to go to the lake, it's right there. You want to go to the river, it's right there. Our area is so nice, but you go to the Midwest where they have like tornadoes and it's fucking dry and all this other shit.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah. No.
Or like when you go to like Ohio, like where I looked over there, it's just like, it's nice over there, but you're dealing with, 100% humidity where it's 100 degrees outside in the summertime every once in a while. And then you're dealing with, it's negative 20 in the wintertime. And you got fucking snow all the time. And they got ice and they have salt over the roads and it's going to tear up your car and you got to buy a new car every 5 years.
Yeah, the weather does.
So, I mean, and that's like the whole like northern part of the country is like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, at least in the wintertime anyway, for sure. I mean, even in Wyoming, that's like when Braden lived over there, he was like, yeah, I mean, it's snow all the time and it's
like
cold.
Kansas was like that. It snowed all the time in the winter. And then sometimes it didn't snow. It was just like ice everywhere.
That's like, and then you go to, Texas where like it doesn't hardly ever snow down there.
Yeah.
But then
it's just hot.
It's just hotter than hell for 4 months.
Yeah.
I feel like it's probably warm the other 8 months, but
Power
it's
grid's
probably
fucking going out.
yeah. And the governor's heading over to Mexico and shit hits the fan.
Where is this podcast taking us? Holy shit.
It's the beauty of the podcast, man. It goes where it goes.
It goes where it goes, man.
It'll take us a lot of places.
Oh, shit. Okay. Look, we can wrap this. We've done 3 hours, boys.
I
We
believe
did
it.
3 hours?
We did a solid little push there.
Wow.
Do you guys have anything you want to plug? Any shout outs? Nothing? Anything?
No shout outs, man.
Shout out
honestly.
to Nick's podcast.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
Growing Pains.
Growing Pains. Hey. Subscribe, like.
Share with your friends.
Share with your friends.
Yeah.
Do all the good jazz.
If you think you're interesting, email him.
If you learn something.
Yeah, I've been. I think
Email
we've got a
him.
couple. I reached out to a couple of interesting people. We'll see what happens. The next few might get a little. We'll see where they go.
I still have like 3 or 4 to catch up on, and then until I'm like fully caught up. But
Hop on.
It's been a ride.
Hop on if you get the emails. All right. You'll talk about all sorts of things. All sorts of things.
All right, guys. I appreciate the fuck out of you guys. I'm glad we did this.
I'm glad we did
It's,
it.
it's been too long.
It's been a hot minute.
It's been a hot minute.
I think it's time number 4.
I don't
for
even
me?
remember.
Yeah, Dustin's a seasoned professional.
You're a
over here.
professional over here, dude.
Caz
Oh my god.
Kaz is gaining. This is your
Second.
second.
This is my second
Okay,
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're scooting up there.
We're scooting up there, dude.
Well, now that we got a solid 3 mics set up, 4 eventually, I just got to get some more recording, and then we'll be good. Get everybody else.
we
in
get
here.
everyone
Get
going,
the
dude.
squad.
We get the whole
I'll
thing
come on.
going.
I'll come on for a 5th time. I like to keep
Hey,
the record
baby.
going higher
Hey.
and higher.
Yeah, you have the record for the longest one, I think.
Yeah, 5 hours.
Fucking
5
dude,
hours?
that was a bitch to edit.
Holy shit,
Tell you that
dude.
right now.
Think about him, man.
Yeah,
What are you doing?
no, Dustin didn't give a
What are
fuck. He
you
was like, let's
doing?
just keep going. I was like, all right.
Next time I'm on the podcast, though, we got to play some board games. We got to do some shit, dude.
I want to do a. I guess I'm saying this now on the podcast. I want to do a poker night on the podcast.
A
where we
poker
just
night?
Play poker,
You got to teach me poker.
drink. I don't know poker either, so it's
We can play blackjack. That's
okay.
pretty
We'll
easy.
play
Gotta teach me
blackjack. But I think
blackjack,
that'd
too.
be legit. We'll just do a podcast and play cards.
Yeah, dude. Hell
Sign
yeah.
me up.
Sign
All right,
me up. I'm
we're
down.
doing it. I'll get that fourth mic. We'll see if we can get Brado in here and
Oh,
see
yeah.
what we can make happen.
Play some poker. We have the rules, but like, hey, fuck. Hold up.
Hold up, we'll Google it. We'll put it on the TV.
No,
That way we know what's happening.
No.
All right, boys.
I'm excited to see this podcast.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We out.
We out. Peace.